Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto was in Street Fighter Ninja Harem. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by SpodeSP, link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. A whole new world. Thousands of years ago. An atmosphere. You want me to leave you both behind? Hinata at first seemed confused but then realized what Naruto was implying. And no, I can't leave you behind, there has to be another way. Tears that she once wiped away were now returning. Naruto smiles softly at her and pulls her into a hug. I'm sorry Hinata, but I can't risk your life or the others if my plan fails from containing the blast. This is the only way for you and the others to get back safely. Don't worry about leaving the room, I placed a marker on Shikamaru so you will meet up with him. Once you gather all of them, including your sister, throw this specialized kunai. I made it so that I can remotely send people from one of these markers to the other. Once that happens, you must find Kakashi and tell them that the mission was a success. Naruto states, handing her the two kunai and preparing the technique. Hinata looks back at his face, specifically his eyes. They're filled with confidence, determination, and love. Love for his home and for her. With her hands shaking, she grabs them and says what's on her mind. Then Naruto-kun, please promise me that you will return, safe and sound. Her lavender eyes look straight into his eyes, pleading him to respond. Naruto closes his eyes as he smiles back, I promise that I will make it back to Earth. With his eyes still closed he stated what she wanted to hear. Not entirely convinced, Hinata stares at his face, eyes still closed, and decides to make her move. Her slender hand moves up to caress his cheek, causing him to stop smiling and open his eyes again. Hinata, what are she leans forwards, and their lips connected. It was an innocent kiss, but it was full of passion, love, and warmth. She poured all of her feelings into it. She wanted Naruto to know what he meant to her. Naruto froze. Is this what it feels like to have a partner who loves you back and to share their love with? He leaned into the kiss, but kept his eyes fixated on her teary, beautiful lavender half-lidded ones. After some seconds, Hinata ended the kiss. I'll be waiting for you at home. She holds one of the kunai out for him to activate the technique. Naruto stares at the kunai, then places his hand on it. I will Hinata-chan, I'll see you soon. Before activating the technique, he places something in her hand right as she disappears. The last thing he sees is her soft, sweet smile, with a healthy blush on her cheeks. Outer atmosphere, Earth, 2005, January. As the millenniums come and go, so do the landmasses. Continents begin to shift as seas dry up, oceans grow in size, and land spreads out. The once great elemental nations disappear as new landmasses take shape. As these landmasses change, so do the civilizations that rule over the land. The shinobi era has gone down as merely a myth to modern-day historians. After all, who can imagine humans that were capable of destroying mountains, changing the weather, or even destroying part of the moon? Ha! Sounds more like a fairy tale than anything else to them. Many still have questions though. After all, the moon was once whole according to scientists. Many simply theorize an earthquake or perhaps an asteroid slamming into the moon caused its change. Whatever the cause, the most common solutions revolve around scientific theories and known phenomena. If only they knew. Be that as it may, the ancient rubble of the moon still exists, encircling the earth, adding to the beauty of the night sky when light bounces off the rocks. These rocks have been collected and studied to see if their story can be revealed. With so many pieces, scientists were spoiled for choice. However, one of these rocks looks rather unique. The first thing that is noticed about this piece of stone is the green gem attached to it. Once taking a closer look, the stone appears to look more like a statue. A statue of a man to be more specific. It's extremely detailed, down to the individual strands of hair on its head. The statue looks so lifelike. The face, clearly showing the last expression of the man. Its eyes, well made of rock, depicts clear emotion. The hands, feet, ears, and some more parts of the human anatomy that are so difficult to chisel appear so accurate. This was not made by a human. How could it? It's too perfect. As it harmlessly floats amongst the rest of the rubble, it gets hit by another rock. This caused a chain reaction. After getting hit, the statues gets knocked into other pieces of rock. One particular hit caused a statue to descend towards the blue planet below. The remarkable statue now resembles a fireball as it starts to tear through Earth's atmosphere. Its destination, whether it be fate or pure luck, contains the last remnants of an era long since forgotten. The world as we now know it is about to be shaken to its very core. Japan, near Toyama. Japan, to many, seems to be a densely populated series of islands, where some of the most unique and ancient forms of culture still exist. Many assume that the country is packed with people. They aren't wrong. While some parts of Japan are heavily populated, there are some places that appear almost abandoned. These villages, where once the population was average, slowly decreased as labor became more available in the big cities. These ghost towns are now home to such small populations that many deem them abandoned. In one of these villages lives an elderly man. Dressed in a formal dark blue and white kimono, he continues on his nightly stroll. Many don't know his full name, most simply refer to him as Yoshi. His gray hair is held into a bun, an X-shaped scar can be seen over his right eye. The eye in particular appears foggy, with no iris visible. As he continued to walk, he continues to look at the night sky. Today in particular, the rocks and stars seem to be dancing with each other. As he continued to look, he spots something falling from the sky. At first it appears small, like a moving star. However, Yoshi notices that it appears to be getting bigger and closer to him. He sees a fiery ball headed straight for him. Next thing he knew, this meteor passed over his head, landing further up the trail he was on. It was so close to him that he felt the heat radiate off the falling rock. After recovering from the close call, he adjusts his kimono and cleans off the dust off of his sleeves. Well, this could be interesting. As a single elderly male, living in a small populated village, it was understandable to have thoughts like this. Perhaps, some of the local scientist-geologists would pay a decent sum of money for fallen debris. With that in mind, since it was also on the way home, he continued towards where the meteor crashed landed. After a few minutes, he sees a path of destroyed trees. Presumably, getting destroyed as the meteor flew by. It was a little off the beaten path, nothing a man of his experience can handle. As he continues to walk, he sees a decently large crater appear before him that has smoke coming out of it. It wasn't terribly steep, easy enough for him to make his way down. As Yoshi got closer, he does his best to fight through the smoke coming off the potential find. He comes to realize that it wasn't any particular rock, it was something that was possibly worth more. There implanted in the dirt was a fully intact, highly detailed statue of a young man. All things considered, it was beautiful. So much detail was present in it. The spiky hair, the individual fingers and toes, the ears, and even the face. It was so lifelike it's impossible to think any human could have carved it. However, what caught his eye more than anything else has got to be the biggest gem he has ever seen firmly placed at the center of the statue's chest. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure I'm looking at a perfectly cut emerald. At its eyes and what it's on, this would be worth a fortune. Soon, the cold winter air started to cool off the statue, allowing Yoshi to get closer. The emerald gem looked firmly attached to the statue. Not a problem. Yoshi placed his palm on the gem, covering it in kai. Being a formal champion of martial arts, using kai became a staple in his techniques. With the kai he channel, he plans to cut out the gem without damaging the statue, take it downtown in the morning, then sell both the gem and the statue to the highest bidder. Perhaps now I can pay for a nice present for myself. He couldn't finish his statement as the gem began to glow. Then a pulse of energy knocked the man back, landing on his rear and back. After recovering from getting the wind knocked out of him, he sees the statue beginning to form cracks. As more cracks appear, the same green gem continued to release energy and glow brighter by the second. After a few more pulses, the gem got so bright it forced Yoshi to look away. Suddenly, a pillar of green energy shot out of the statue, engulfing it until it too was covered in its blinding light. This same pillar of energy pierced the clouds, almost as if the heavens themselves were preparing to introduce something grand. Then, all of the light and energy disappeared. Yoshi, now being able to open his eye, let out an audible gasp. What was once a statue of a young man is now replaced by the same young man. Only he appears organic. The spiky hair is now shown to be a unique shade of blonde, his skin a light peach color, and what he thought were cracks on the cheeks turned out to be whisker-like scars on his young face. His eyes are closed, preventing Yoshi from seeing them. However, he noticed the state of the young man's clothes. Or lack thereof. His black shirt is torn open, revealing an equal torn mesh shirt. His orange pants has one of its legs torn apart, revealing everything from the shin down. All parts of his clothing show signs of burns and tears. The only parts of the man's outfit that appear fully intact was his headband, with a metal plate that is only slightly dented, his open-toe sandals, and the once gemstone, now a green necklace that is in the shape size of a pen cap. After evaluating the situation, he needs to decide what to do. Okami, was this man turned to stone? How? Why? What do I do now? Yoshi began to try and figure out the next possible steps. Getting closer to the young man, he places his hand on the exposed chest of the young man. He was cold to the touch, likely due to freezing temperatures. Ba-dum, his heart is beating. Realizing that the closest hospital was nearly 15 miles away, he sighed, deciding on his next course of action. Grabbing the man by his right arm, which is bandaged, and picking him up, he transfers his weight and adjusts his hold into the form of a fireman carry. Once he is sure he has a good grip on the young man, he begins to return to his home, mentally preparing the questions he's going to have for the young man once he wakes up. Snaps. That didn't sound good. When he wakes up, he owes me a trip to the chiropractor. Ignoring the pain in his back for now, he continues to walk back towards his home. Not realizing that his good deed just changed the world. 2 days later, inside Yoshi's home, morning. Laying on a plain-looking futon, the young blonde man was seen, peacefully sleeping away the day. On his head was a warm cloth. His clothes were replaced with a simple black kimono. No noise was heard in what appeared to be a simple guest room, with only a small TV, some bookshelves, a lamp, and a clock on the wall. Tick, 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 tick. The rhythmic sounds of the clock was the only sound Yoshi heard as we entered the room. With a new cloth in one hand and a plate of food in the other, he walks towards the young man as he continues to sleep. Placing the plate of food on the nearby table, he then kneels down to the side of the futon and takes off the old cloth and replaces it with a new one. Once that was done, he left the room, threw the cloth in the laundry bin, grabbed his now ready tea and teacup, and returned to the room. Yoshi, after closing the door behind him, places the tea next to the plate of food, walks towards the bookshelves to select a book to read. Once selected, he returns to the desk, opens the book, and begins to enjoy the peaceful morning. Normally, Yoshi spends his mornings in this room, enjoying the peace and a nice book with his morning meal. However, his makeshift guest room is being occupied by the young man that has yet to awaken. It's completely understandable. Yoshi has no idea how long the man was encased in stone for. He sees it as a possibility that he needs to be near the man for when he wakes up to keep him up with the time. He sips his tea as he continues to read the content in the pages. I wonder what caused you to be placed in stone. Would you even speak any known language? So many questions I want answered. No, it's likely he's been petrified for a long time. He's likely going to experience a mental crisis. I can't overwhelm him. Yoshi's train of thought was interrupted as he looked over at the futon. The young man begins to stir. Well, time for the moment of truth. Yoshi places the book down and grabs his tea. Preparing for the conversation that is to come. The last thing he remembers was seeing the form of Toneri glowing bright, then an explosion happened. Is he dead? Kami, I hope not. Wait, what is this? Why am I feeling something soft? Naruto begins to open one eye. A plain beige ceiling stares back at him. When did he get to the room? He groans, he feels like all of his limbs fell asleep and tries to sit up. Once he fully sits up, he begins to take in his surroundings. Well, I'm not in the hospital. I wonder why. Knowing Sakura, she'd fight tooth and nail to keep me in that depressing building. Where am I? He begins to look around, seeing what appears to be a TV screen, several bookshelves, and some nice-looking art. Finally looking behind him, he sees an old man, probably in his late 60s, sipping on tea and looking at his direction. Deciding to get some answers, Naruto turns around slowly and asks. Hey old man, where am I? How did I get here and how long was I out? Naruto begins to question Yoshi, who finishes his tea and places it back on the table. Well, I guess communication isn't a problem now. Hello young man, my name is Yoshi. To best answer your question, I think you should first tell me your name and what you last remember. He states while pouring more tea for himself and preparing another cup for Naruto. After Yoshi finishes pouring the tea, he walks over to Naruto and hands him the cup. He walks back and waits for Naruto to respond. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. The last thing I remember is trying to contain a massive amount of chakra that was released on the moon that would have destroyed it completely. I last remember succeeding, but then getting hit by another blast from someone else that was helping contain the blast. As Naruto continues to talk, Yoshi keeps a calm face, but on the inside, he was shocked. Chakra, moon explosion, second blast. Don't tell me Yoshi stops his train of thought when he sees that Naruto is trying to get his attention. Hey Gramps, you okay, can you hear me? Naruto states, trying to get the old man to respond. Yoshi looks back at him, maintaining a calm look. I apologize Naruto. I will explain everything to you, but first, I need to ask, are you a shinobi that uses chakra? He asks, hoping, not really sure what to expect. Naruto, confused, responded. What? Of course, I'm a shinobi. And yes, I do use chakra, but I thought everyone knew what chakra is. Naruto states, getting more frustrated with the questions. Anyway, why do you ask? With that, Yoshi released a sigh, then after taking a sip from his tea, started to speak. Alright Naruto, you may find this hard to believe, but when I found you, you were made of stone. Naruto's eyes grew in shock. The old man continued. I'm making a guess, but not only were you encased in stone, but I think you've been a statue for thousands of years. Naruto was now fully paying attention to this old man. In our present day, your time is shrouded in mystery. Individual humans with the power of the planet itself. A purer, stronger form of energy called chakra. being so strong that climates were changed by a mere clash of attacks. We call this time period the Shinobi era. However, due to such outlandish claims of human strength, humanity has deemed your era fiction. As the old man finished his explanation, Naruto appears to have lost color in his face. Fear, shock, and disbelief are some of the main emotions whirling around Naruto's mind. Naruto slowly stands up, shaky legs stood firm after a bit. No, it was almost too soft to be heard. Luckily, due to the lack of noise, Yashi heard it. Naruto are yo. Before he could finish, Naruto's face changed to that of anger. He yells at the old man. No. You're lying to me, you old fart. Naruto, with shaky legs, ran out the room and the house as well. Barely hearing Yashi's voice of protest. He's lying, there's no way this is happening, I've just been captured by a lunatic. Yeah. I'll just climb to the highest vantage point and see where I am. As he thinks to himself, tries to run, but due to weak legs, he constantly fell into the snow-covered ground. He noticed that Yashi lives on a mountain, which is perfect since he can use the high vantage point to see where he is. After a couple of minutes of trip running, he made it to the highest point that was cleared. A rocky edge overlooking the range was what he arrived at too. Slowing down to a walk, he approaches the mountain's edge to see if he can find any landmark. Having traveled all over the world before, he should at least be able to find some landmark telling him where he is. To his surprise, not only did he not recognize the land, but he sees a city he has never seen before from his point of view. He falls to his knees and hands, not caring about the cold snow pressing against his exposed skin. Tears began to well up in his eyes. This can't be real. I'm dreaming, this is just one big stupid dream. He balls his fist and punches his own face hard. Wake up, damn it, wake up. Over and over, he hits different parts of his body, hoping that the pain will wake him up for this nightmare. No matter how much he bruises, he still sees the same damn city. Once again, he fell to his hands and knees, the tears that were building up in his eyes were now freely falling, making indents into the cold snow below him. He places his hand on his heart as it continues to speed up. It started to hurt more and more. Soon, he was struggling to breathe altogether. Yashi, who just arrived, sees Naruto in a horrible state. One of his eyes is turning blue from the hits. Blood was falling from his nose, looking slightly dislocated. Short breaths were all he heard as he saw Naruto collapse in red-covered snow. Clutching his heart as tears still continued to fall. Panicking, Yashi runs to Naruto, getting onto his knees and trying to see what condition he was in. Naruto, you poor boy. He can never imagine how much pain the young man was feeling. Realizing that the world not only moved on, but his home, friends, and possibly family are long gone. He was all alone. Rubbing his hands together, a light blue glow appears on the palms. He adjusted Naruto's position so that he was lying on his back instead. Then, he places each palm on either side of his head. It was a technique he had used in the past to help his sons relax. It's meant to release tension and force hormones to activate. It seems to be working as Naruto's short rapid breath slowed down. Once again, he stopped clutching his heart. His once pain-filled face was now at peace. His eyes remained closed as he returned to slumber. Don't worry, Naruto, I will do my best to help you out. Yashi stated as he once again began to carry Naruto back to his home. Same day, evening. Yashi's home. I guess it really wasn't dream. Naruto stated in his mind as he once again woke up to the same beige ceiling he saw in the morning. Instead of panicking and trying to take in his surroundings, Naruto decided to just relish in the warmth. A few moments later, he hears the sliding door to the room open and he sees the old man walking in with another warm cloth and some tea. Oh, you're awake. He states as he places the tea on the table in the room. I must apologize, I wasn't expecting you to be awake, let me get you a cup as well. Yashi changes the clothes on his head and leaves the room to get a cup and put the used cloth in the laundry. A minute later, Yashi returns with another cup for tea. He heads to the table, pours tea in both cups and hands one to Naruto. Naruto sat up on his elbows, accepting the tea and this time taking some sips from it. Arigato softly, Naruto thanks the old man for the tea, sticking the cup out for more. As he pours the tea, Yashi strikes a conversation. I'm sorry about earlier, I should have used a more calm approach to explaining your situation. He states after setting down the kettle. Naruto quickly responds, no Gramps, I should be the one to apologize. I've been nothing but a rude guest. All you've done is help me recover and try to figure out my situation. I'm really grateful for your help. He really should be grateful for. For all he knew, he could have been in a much worse situation. Ah, water under the bridge now son. He states, finishing his own tea. A bit of an awkward silence settled in between the two. Luckily if there was one thing Naruto hated was sitting still in silences. He looks at the old and asks, so, I was wondering, since I'm technically a time-traveling person, can you tell me more about the world? Naruto asks as Yashi finishes filling up his own cup for the second time. Yashi nods, it would be my honor. Yashi, standing up from his chair, walked towards his bookshelves, grabbing 4 books, each varying in thickness. Once he has all 4, he returns to his spot and continues. Now then, let me start off by saying that the world we are in today isn't ruled by the same type of governments. Each country and nation has its own form of government. Ranging from dictators to councils and even traditional methods of ruling like monarchs, emperors, etc. he states, preparing one of the books titled World Encyclopedia. Naruto nods and asks, okay, what country are we in now if you don't mind me asking? So much variety, this is something that he never put much thought into. Yashi smiles and nods, we are currently in a country called Japan. I can tell you right now, you are lucky that you landed here. Japanese isn't a language that is spoken around world. Perhaps at some point in the future, I can teach you English, which is the most common language. As the old man continues to talk more about Japan, Naruto, for once, paid attention to a lecture and began to focus on the history of this country. They continued to converse until it was time to sleep. They will continue their conversation in the morning, after a deserved rest. Tuesday morning, January 8, 2008. After a filling breakfast, Naruto and Yashi are seen in the living room, getting ready to begin where they left off. However, something was bugging Yashi and decided to ask. Naruto, I know this may sound like an odd request, but how well are you with technology? Naruto raises his eyebrow. Odd, but he responds. I'm not that good myself. The best I know is how to use a radio. He answers truthfully. Yashi nods, then brings out a very small flat box. It has what looks like a screen on it and a circle button on the bottom. This is what my sons gifted me last time they visited. It's called a smartphone. I've never really learned how to use it and they said they will call me today. Yashi stated as he pushes the button and the screen turns on. Wow, this is so cool. We didn't have this type of technology in my time. Are you saying that your kids will call you on this? Naruto states as he looks closely at the pretty pictures. Yashi chuckles, that's what they said, but I myself don't know how to use it. I'm scared I might break it. As soon as he finished stating that, a loud ringing was heard and the phone started to buzz as well. With a yell, both Naruto and Yashi jumped and ran behind the sofa, expecting the phone to explode. They peeked to look at the still buzzing and ringing phone, seeing a picture of 4 young men with similar hair colors on it. Oh, those are my sons. I guess they're calling now. He got out from behind the sofa and picked up the phone. He sees 2 buttons, a red button and a green one. Which one do I press to accept? He says, sweating a bit trying to figure out what to pick. Naruto looks over Yashi's shoulder, well, green means go. He speaks. Getting his simple logic, Yashi presses the button. The screen changes, showing 4 young men, all wearing sweaters. All look similar to each other, having black hair, green eyes, and similar facial structures. Hi Dad. The one in the orange sweater states out loud, while showing a peace sign. What's up Dad? The man in the red sweater said as he nuggies the brother in orange. It's good to see you too San. The brother wearing black glasses and in the purple sweater, says while waving awkwardly. Hello too San. The brother with the blue sweater and the one holding the phone says while smiling. These were his 4 sons. God bless his late wife for birthing quadruplets. As of right now, they are studying abroad in the United States. Hello, my sons, I hope you guys are maintaining your grades. Yashi says while waving back. Hell yeah we are. You won't believe how much smarter I've become the brother in orange says. Showing a thumbs up. BFFT, stop lying Mitch, you know that without me you'd be dropping out and heading home right about now. The brother in purple says as he pushes his glasses up. Aw, come on man. Give me some slack. Do you know how hard it is to stay still during lectures? Let's also not forget what I did for you. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be dating Abby. Mitch came back, causing the brother in purple to blush and quickly ran to cover Mitch's mouth. Mitch. Shut up. He said before hearing a snort laugh from the one in red. What's this Danny, I thought you told us it was all you. Snort, I can't tell what's sadder. The fact that you couldn't do it or the fact that Mitch of all people helped you. The man in the red sweater stated. This caused a chain reaction between the other 2, leading to all 3 bickering over it. Finally, the one in the blue and the one holding the phone spoke. Guys. Need I remind you we are on a call? He says getting their attention back to the phone in his hands, showing their father with a sweat drop forming on the side of his head. I see that they haven't stopped fighting. Hopefully, with age, that would stop. Yashi thought to himself. He never quite found out why they loved to bicker bully each other so much. Alright, Mitch, Danny, Ray, are you guys forgetting to say something? The one in blue emphasizes the something leading to his brothers nodding and getting back in an orderly pile in front of the phone. Right, sorry Levi, we almost forgot. Danny said as the rest hug each other's shoulder and began to say. Happy birthday to San. By pressing a button on the phone, Levi made the screen flash briefly before a bunch of animated balloons appeared to fall from the top of the screen, with the words happy birthday floated down last before disappearing. Feeling touched, Yoshi replied, why thank you my sons. With that, the family is left talking. Naruto took this as his key to give them privacy. I might as well test my current abilities. With that, he gets his sandals and heads outside. Backyard. Yoshi's backyard wasn't exactly pretty. Though it was huge. Large enough to conveniently fit an arena ride in the middle of it. After heading towards it and standing in the middle, Naruto held his hands in the ram sign and began to sense his chakra. Wait, this isn't right. While it appears that a large aura of blue energy surrounds Naruto, he can feel that something was off about it. Why do I feel so weak? This can't be right. Well, he has more chakra than the average Jonin, it's essentially a tiny pool compared to the vast ocean of reserves he had before he turned to stone. With this in mind, Naruto forms another hand sign. He joins his middle and index fingers together on each hand and forms a cross shape and begins to conjure up chakra once again. Shadow Clone Jutsu. With that, roughly 10 exact clones of Naruto appears around him. Damn it, I lost my control as well. It's like my body has been reset to my days as a genin. Coming to this realization, he wanted to test one more thing before he jumped the gun. He sticks his bandaged right hand out and begins to gather chakra in it. Slowly, but surely, a single chakra ring, so thin that it can barely be seen, appears hovering over his hand. Sweat started to pour down Naruto's face as he continued to will his signature technique into shape. No matter how hard he tried, his father's technique wouldn't appear. Then one of his shadow clones walks behind the hand and begins to spin the chakra around it. Soon the Rasengan was seen in Naruto's hand. Okay. That confirms it, I'm back to my genin days. Man, was I really this bad at everything? If he could travel back in time, he would strangle his younger self for not taking his chakra control training seriously. While thinking about his genin days, he is reminded about a certain tailed beast that has yet to be reawakened. Oh shit, Kurama. I completely forgot about him. I hope he is okay. With that he quickly disperses his clones, gets into a meditation position, and travels into his mind. Inside Naruto's mind. Normally, Naruto would appear right in front of Kurama. However, when he opened his eyes, he was not greeted by the tail beast. Instead, a giant green gate, similar to his seal, stood right where Kurama usually sits. Instead of a paper seal acting as the lock, a giant green gem, the same size as his own head, was seen in its place. Walking towards it, he begins to hear a loud intake of breath, followed by the sound of the same breath being released. It's Kurama. Or at least, he can see his tails. He can't see his face as the tailed beast seems to have his back facing the gate. Hey Kurama. Can you hear me? Kurama, Kurama, Kurama. With that final shout, he got no response. Deciding to stop wasting his own breath, he continues to walk closer to the front of the gate. As he got closer, the gem began to glow as well. What is this thing anyway? Stretching his arm out, his hand is just about to touch the gem when suddenly, Naruto's eyes opened wide and he took several jumps back from the gem. Whoa, that's a lot of nature energy. Naruto, once again, begins to slowly approach the gem. Why is there so much energy? Is this what's keeping Kurama asleep? So many questions, with so little answers. One thing was for sure though, his body, nor his chakra network were ready to even begin absorbing nature chakra. He takes one last glimpse of Kurama's still form before he begins to leave his mind. Don't worry Kurama. I will get you free someday. Just not today. With that, he closes his eyes and begins to return to the outside world. Outside of Naruto's mind. Well, he was in his mind a lot longer than he thought. When Naruto entered his mind, the sun was at its highest point. After leaving his mind, it's very clearly sundown, as the sky is just beginning to turn dark. A little ways away, he also sees Yoshi in a similar position, releasing what he calls Kai. From all around his body. Naruto, readjusting his position, caused the old man to open his eye and stop his meditation. I see you are back. How was your meditation session? Yoshi stated as the blue aura began to fade back into his body. Ah, well. It went well. I was trying to see how much my body has recovered. He was interrupted by Yoshi. So, you came out here to evaluate your mind, aura, and body, correct? He finishes Naruto's statement for him, all the while getting up to and sitting in a kneeling position closer to Naruto. Naruto nods in return. Well, what did you discover? Are you almost back to full strength? Yoshi asks, gaining interest in the young man's potentially ancient source of power. Naruto shakes his head. Honestly, no. Not even close. My reserves, my control, even my own physical strength, it's nowhere near the level I once had. Naruto stated honestly. After all, Yashi has gained some trust with how well he treated him the past few days. Yashi, still listening, used his body language to tell Naruto to continue, all the while, bringing out a long smoking pipe and a lighter and begins to have a smoke. Naruto continues. I was once considered the strongest fighter of my time. Only my best friend could match me. To go from that to what I am now, it's… Once again, Yashi finished his train of thought. Frustrating, right? To have reached the highest level of your training, only to be brought back to step 1. He releases some smoke after finishing the statement. Having Naruto's attention, he continues. When I was younger, I was also considered a prodigy in the form of our modern-day martial arts. However, after being defeated at a tournament in my 40s, my body never was able to fully return to that level, he says, as he remembers that day, receiving a powerful, near-fatal blow from a blonde man in red to the chest. I'm sorry to hear that, old man. Naruto states, feeling bad for the elderly man who clearly seems to not have gotten over it. Do you think I can still recover and return to my former self? Naruto asks, hoping to receive some good news. Yashi releases another puff. Naruto, give me your hand. Naruto, confused, scoots closer to the old man and places his bandaged right hand on top of Yashi's outstretched left hand. Flipping the hand over so that the knuckles were facing up, he rubs his thumb over them. Started releasing your energy? Asks Naruto, who in return holds part of the ram hand sign with his left hand and begins to release his chakra. While our sources of energy are different, they are similar enough to where I can sense it and try to map out your max capacity. He states as begins to sense for Naruto's reserves. After a few moments, he opens his eyes. Shock fills his one clear eye as he tries to comprehend what he was sensing. This young man. He wasn't lying, these reserves, this energy, it's unbelievable. Finishing his train of thought, he replies. I can say for sure that you will one day make a full recovery. Back to your original level of strength. He is still trying to cope with what he just felt. Really? Awesome. Naruto states with exactment. He jumps up and begins to celebrate. A few seconds of dancing later and Naruto stands in front of Yashi and asks. How long do you think I need to train before I return to being my usual self? He asks as he assists Yashi with getting up. I'm sorry to be a little bit of a downer, but from what I've sensed, it could take years for you to fully recover. He states, already regretting being that blunt as Naruto deflates like a popped balloon. What do you mean years? Isn't there something that can, I don't know, jumpstart my recovery time? He asks, trying to find any way he recover his power faster. Yashi shakes his head. If your story is true, your body was likely placed under a large amount of strain. So much so that it has caused your body to reset itself to more primitive state. He continues as he tries to find the best way to explain. If an athlete breaks a leg or tears their muscle, they aren't moving the appendage for quite some time. This can lead to having the leg lose muscle mass, or even muscle memory. It's only through long periods of therapy in which the leg has any sort of chance of returning to form, he states, looking over towards Naruto to see if he is still following along. So, what you are saying, I need to place my whole body into therapy? Naruto asks, hoping he understands what the old man is saying. The old man puts the pipe to his lips and takes in smoke. Not necessarily. Since you were locked in stone for so long, your body has gotten weaker. However, I believe with just redoing your training as if you were just learning it can be the best way in ensuring you a speedy recovery. With that, Naruto's morale was back to be high. Alright then, looks like I have a lot of work to do. He looks back at the moon, since I already mastered my techniques, all I have to do is relearn them, and then my body will grow alongside with it. He states before he begins to stretch. It's time to start my super, ultra, quick and easy training period to return to full strength. A hand is placed on his shoulder. Perhaps you can do that, starting tomorrow. Right now, I'd think it's best that we get you food and sleep. He speaks. From his years of experience, intense training on little rest and food can be a death sentence for anyone not ready for it. Naruto looks at the old man, ready to retort, but then hears his stomach protest with a growl. Alright, old man, I will start my training tomorrow. He speaks. Making Yashi nod as they head back inside. By the way, do you have ramen? Little did Yashi know. You never offer Naruto free ramen, ever. Chapter 2. Basic Welcome to Metro City. 1 year later, Metro City, USA. January 12, 2009. So, I've been thinking about strength, man. Strength, might, the power of fight. Is it money? Authority? A cool job? A ton of likes? Heh. Okay. Let's keep it simple. I want to be strong. Can you believe it? We got self-driving cars. The time's coming we'll be taking rockets to Mars. And yet you've still got folk out there using their fists and bodies to seek strength. Yeah. I hear you man. We're all a bunch of fools. But you know if you wanna know about strength, you just gotta get to it. We all fighting fools are all getting to it, on the streets. With that, the end of an advertisement video of Buckler Basic Training Course concluded with the logo of the organization flashing as it ends. Looking away from the smartphone to stare out the window of the bus, we see that it was held by a young man that is in his early 20s. His blonde hair, a unique shade and shape. Spiking in all directions, and its color is so vibrant and bright. It almost appears like the sun itself was placed on his head. Looking at his face, the first thing that is noticed are his eyes. A deep luminescent sapphire blue that are very expressive. The next features that are noticeable are the whisker-like markings on his cheeks. Are they tattoos, birthmarks, or scars? Regardless, they were exotic and caused some of the people's stare to linger. Looking down from the face, it's noticed that he is fairly tall, at least compared to the Asian tourists surrounding him. Standing at a respectable 6 feet even, he doesn't appear overly muscular, but does have a lean build. He wore a black zip-up sweater that had an orange line pattern all around it and an orange zipper. He also wore form-fitting orange cargo pants with some white bandages wrapped around the right mid-thigh. Going further south he is wearing black open-toe sandals with a reinforced heel. Some notable accessories include the top of his mesh shirt that can be seen from the slight opening of his sweater. Another noticeable accessory was the black round pouch attached to his hip. It was fairly small, but whenever he moved, a jingle of metal was heard. Lastly, sitting atop his forehead was a headband with a metal plate that had a symbol that looked like a leaf on it. The tail ends of the headband were set behind his head resting on his upper back. Naruto Uzumaki seemed to stand out compared to the crowd that was on the same bus as him. This bus ride is part of the tour package that Naruto paid for to come here. It came with food, a tour guide, and lastly a package for those that plan to stay in the city after the tour is completed. As he stared out of the window, it caused him to think back. It had been a full year since he was reawakened by the old man. Over the course of the year, Naruto didn't waste any time. He began to research, learn, and train to ensure he was ready for the new world. With the help of shadow clones, Naruto quickly learned English, as well as some other languages that were fairly common. He also took the time to learn about the histories, governments, and cultures of different parts of the world as well. With the help of Yoshi's sons, he also got some teachings on modern-day technology. Such as how to use a phone, the internet, play games, make calls, etc. Essentially, they covered everything there is to know about modern-day tech. Yoshi on the other hand, helped Naruto by teaching him how modern-day humans use Kai to enhance their bodies and some of his personal techniques. Like a sponge, Naruto absorbed everything that he taught him and found some of his techniques rather interesting and helpful. Of course, this didn't mean that Naruto wasn't training in his own techniques. On the contrary, his own techniques and forms were the focal point of his year-long training. Thankfully, since he mastered almost all of his favorite techniques, relearning them wouldn't be a problem. However, a problem that arose quickly was his own physical body and chakra network. Since his body reset itself to his genin days, he isn't strong enough to perform many of his more destructive and powerful jutsu. Luckily, despite some frustration, Naruto understood this and decided that for now, he simply relearned the basics and hoped that his control returns naturally as he continues. After one whole year of studying, learning, training, and relearning, Naruto was confident that he could now try and explore the world on his own. Using shadow clones, Naruto was able to get some money from small jobs he did in the closest city. With the money, he planned to visit as many countries as possible and explore. Hearing his plan, Yoshi was sad to hear that Naruto would be leaving. Having lived in a small village, it means it can get really lonely quickly. However, he knew that Naruto was a free spirit and he needed to start exploring. Yoshi gave him some advice on what he can do to help explore the world. Yoshi stated that many places have tournaments where fighters gather together to win money, test their skills, or simply gain popularity. Yoshi recommended that Naruto first travel to a place called Metro City. A place that was once filled with crime, now exists as a utopia for strong fighters across the land. Naruto accepted the advice and purchased a one-way ticket to the United States, with a tour included as well. When Naruto finished preparations, he said goodbye to Yoshi, promising one day he'll come back and he'll be stronger than ever before. Naruto also said goodbye to the brothers as well, since they have officially returned to Japan, having finished their degrees and now live in the closest city to their father. As Naruto got to the airport, he saw some advertisements for several academies training courses that were led by legendary fighters. Some were small schools hoping to grow and expand, however, two stood out to him the most. Buckler Basic Training Course and another, less professional-looking advertisement. It was simply a picture of a lady doing a Karate Kid pose in front of a bunch of others. But these two courses in his mind, he boarded the plane, preparing to start his journey around the world. Before Naruto could continue down memory lane, he was brought back to reality when he noticed that the bus stopped and everyone was getting off. Seeing this, Naruto grabbed his two duffel bags and followed everyone else. Once out of the bus, he stands near the back of the group as they all wait for their two tour guides to begin. "Hello everyone and welcome to Metro City," said the female tour guide. She was of average build, height and appeared in her early 30s. "My name is Paige and my partner here is Forrest. We will be your tour guides for your stay." Forrest is a tall male also in his 30s with a somewhat fit build, but more importantly, he had what appear to be black combat gloves. Forrest continues where Paige left off. "We will be visiting different parts of this city by foot. Nothing like some good Olay exercise to stay healthy. Don't worry, we will take breaks and we have some food cards for all of you to use." He says that 4 more guys appear around with carts. "If you don't want to carry your belongings, we can have our staff take them directly to your rooms now," he states as everyone began to drop off their luggage. Naruto excused himself to enter a public bathroom, then moments later, walked back out without his luggage. He was seen rubbing his left forearm. Well, this caused suspicion to the staff. They didn't get paid enough to care, so they continued with the plan. Alright then, our first stop, as you all may have noticed, is the heart of Metro City itself. Beat Square. Page states as everyone now begins to take in their surroundings. Naruto himself was impressed but not shocked. He had already been to big cities in Japan before, so seeing another one wasn't that impressive, but it was nice to see how differently it was laid out. The jumbotrons are showing off different brands. The sidewalks proudly showcasing graffiti art and even the locals who seem to be jamming out to the music or watching some street performers. Each square embodies everything that is Metro City. Locals have a blast when public events are hosted here. The food stands are fantastic and affordable, and let's not forget the many different stores and services that are provided here. Paige stated as she begins to let everyone around the area. She also begins to point out the many different stores and businesses that she recommends the group try out. Before they get too far, Forrest speaks up. "Sorry to cut you off, Paige, but I forgot to mention, everyone has their red wristband, correct?" Almost everyone, including Naruto, either nodded or held theirs out in response. "That's good." One thing that Paige may have forgotten to mention is that Metro City, despite being a piece, has a unique culture. He finishes, causing people to be confused before they see something happening near one of the street performers. The fire breather is approached by a short woman wearing yoga pants, running shoes and even a headband. She holds her arm up at a 60-degree angle with her fist balled and pointed at the fire breather. The fire breather appears shocked at first, but then places his tools down and does the same thing. Next thing Naruto and the rest knew, they got into fighting stances and began to fight. What was happening? Is anyone going to step in? The group notices a cop casually looking over the fight, but made no indication that he was going to step in. They were wondering if anyone was going to step in, only to see that a crowd formed around the fight, but also were cheering and enjoying the fight as well. Forrest once again speaks, Metro City citizens are some of the toughest in the world. Since those gangs that once ruled the city diminished into smaller powers, crime rates have gone down tremendously. Also, it was thanks to the late great Mike Hager that this style of culture lives and breathes. As he states this, the fire breather landed a solid gut punch on the lady, sending her back. His philosophy is that, so long as the fights are agreed to and no lethal force is used, then fighters can scrap so long as it's between the two. The fire breather blocks a kick from the lady and then nails her with 3 jabs to the chest and finally uppercutting her in the jaw, ending the fight. If we hadn't seen this in action, I would have showcased it later in the tour. Forrest states as the crowd surrounding the fight disperses. Now everyone understood the reasoning behind his gloves. Anyways, since you all are merely visiting, you all are protected from being challenged, so long as you have the red wristband on. So, without further ado, let's continue with the tour. Paige states getting the group to move along once again. As the tour guides lead everyone across the many landmarks near Beat Square, none of them really caught Naruto's attention. First off, they haven't mentioned a ramen noodle shop yet, so food isn't on his mind. Instead, Naruto took out his phone, which is in a blue and orange case, and began to search for rooms to rent. He thought he'd had to look long and hard to find a place to stay, but to his surprise, there were very nice looking apartments for below market value rates. At first this confused him. Big cities were known for having higher rent costs due to location and other factors. Then he realized it's due to this culture that apartments are probably cheap. After all, who wants to live in an area where the screams and cheers of fights, performers, and other nightlife events happened? Sounds like a nightmare for those that struggle to sleep. Anyways, after deciding on a complex, he secured an appointment with a leasing office for later that day. Now it's time for more pressing matters. What will be his main source of income? Before he continues to think about this, he notices that they approach a building with a familiar-looking logo. For a dojo, I'd thought it'd be more professional, Naruto comments as the tour guides take the group into the building, which by all means, looks like an abandoned warehouse for storage. Now we have a very special treat for you all. We are going to see one of Metro City's best teachers for hand-to-hand combat. He's participated in countless tournaments and has big wins over other legendary fighters. Page stated as they are led in by one of the staff members. As they walk in, they see a standard gym with punching bags, mats on the floor, cushions on the walls, as well as an open arena where they see two individuals duking it out. One is a male that is wearing an Asian-style blue shirt with no sleeves and a gold pattern on the collar, armholes, and bottom of the shirt. He was also wearing blue harem pants, actual name, and white shoes. He was currently blocking a series of punches by the other male, who was wearing a sleeveless blue hoodie over a white shirt that also has an orange V-shaped pattern near the upper chest and shoulders. He also wore black combat pants and was seen wearing no shoes. His face, while young, has a scar over his right eye and has blonde hair. The last noticeable feature, or features, were his abnormally large forearms that also have scars. After a series of light jabs, the blonde blocked an uppercut from the black-haired male and did a grab that slammed the black-haired down to the mat. The male that was slammed to the ground did a back rollout to recover, only for the blonde male to cover the ground just as fast and landed a charged straight punch to other's chest, sending him flying back, bouncing off the back wall, and then was nailed by an uppercut from the blonde to finish him off. When it connected, the black-haired male was sent several feet into the air and finally landed hard on his back. Talk about brutality. Most of the tourists agreed that whoever orchestrated this sparring session clearly didn't know how to match similarly skilled opponents together. Finally, the blonde walked over to his downed opponent and kneeled next to him. Not bad for your entry exam. From what I see, you do seem to be more experienced than most. Don't worry about this loss, I'll turn you into a stronger fighter in no time flat. He states as he grabs onto the black-haired man's arm and pulls him up to his feet. The blonde man then hears clapping from around the gym until his eyes see the tourist group near the entrance. He looks over at the young man next to him. Alright Bosch, your examination is complete, please take time to recover. I'll see you tomorrow same time to discuss your plan, alright. He receives a nod from Bosch. Great. Hit the showers. He then turns to the group, what's up everyone? Sorry for not greeting you at the door, a new trainee came in today paying for my advanced course. People that take that course are rare, so I had to make sure he was up for it. He states as he walks to a duffel bag with a similar color scheme and pulls out a towel and wipes off the sweat from his face. My name is Luke Sullivan and I am the head instructor here at Buckler's basic training course. My goal is to train newcomers that are interested in the world of fighting. I have several different types of courses that range based on the trainee's prior experience. He continues while pointing to different trainees that are taking different levels. The trainee that you all just saw will be the first person to take my advanced course in a long time. As he states that, he begins his small tour of his gym. While all of this was happening, Naruto saw a flyer stand that have different organizations ranging from health insurance to equipment to supplements and of course a brochure detailing the different levels of BBTC. Skimming through the brochure, his eyes landed on the final tier. The advanced course. Designed to challenge individuals that already have prior experience in hand-to-hand combat. This course is the only course that has an exam to enter, since the potential student must showcase their skills to prove they belong in the course. The test will be done by Luke Sullivan himself. As Naruto read in his head, he decided to take the brochure to get more information. He walks back to the group as Luke begins to demonstrate some of his techniques. Naruto senses Kai being channeled into his fist, then in a rapid moment, he punches the air, sending a ball of condensed Kai to a punching bag. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my projectile move, called Sand Blast. It's only one of the many types of ways I incorporate Kai into my fighting style. Luke finishes his demonstration with a light rotation to his right shoulder. While I'd like to showcase more, I do have business to attend to, so I am going to have to cut the tour here. He walked to his duffel bag and slung it over his shoulders. He begins to head to the showers before turning around to bid farewell. Don't worry, if any of you are interested in joining my course, please feel free to look over the brochure that is near the front. I hope you all enjoy the city. With that, he walks into the showers. Following that, the tour guides took the group to see more of the city. Finally, their last stop was a beautiful city block decorated in Chinese-style decor and buildings. For our last stop for the day, we bring you to a beautiful part of our city, Honghulu Chinatown. Chinatown, every major city in the US seems to have one. Despite not really having a large population of Chinese, it's almost normal that these places are meant for all Asian cultures. Japanese, Chinese, Thailand, India, South Korea, etc. As they continued to walk down the road, different street performers were seen. Some employees of the many different businesses showed a friendly smile and offered free samples. Once they got to the center of Chinatown, there was a giant red-colored Chinese pavilion. Standing in the pavilion was an old man brooming the dust near the table in the middle. He notices the tour guides and sets the broom down to walk towards them. "Hello and welcome to Chinatown, it is an honor that you all come visit us," he says as he does a standing bow. He looks over towards the tour guides with an apologetic look. "I'm sorry to say this, but Chun-Li is not present today. She has decided to cancel her class so she can enjoy some time with Li Fen," he states as some of the tourists in the group groaned. "Well, that's a shame. Well, regardless, would you like give any recommendations to our group on some restaurants they should try here?" Page states as Forrest gathers everyone else to get their food pass cards. Finally, "I hope this place has good ramen," Naruto states as he gets his card and begins to look for a spot to buy food. After all, it's a Chinatown. What Asian bloc wouldn't have it? At the end of the tour. Back at Beat Square. No ramen. How could that be? Not a single ramen noodle soup shop in that whole Chinatown. If that wasn't bad enough, he might have overpaid for some sushi. He doesn't know, he hasn't gotten used to the US dollar yet. After everyone ate their food, the group moved on to the Bayside Park, where they saw another brawl happen between two guys. When they returned to Beat Square, the tour guide said that they will be moving on to the nearby cities. This is where they ask those with one-way tickets if they are going to stay in the city. If so, they will submit the paperwork for them as soon as they move into the hotel. Naruto went to the staff and handed in his paperwork, letting them know that he will be staying in Metro City. They provided him with his package. It included a brochure of all the legal and government services available, different insurances and their flyers, a photo ID, and 3 extra days in the hotel, since he isn't going to use those stays in the other cities. After thanking them, Naruto went to his room to prepare for a night's rest. The next day. After a breakfast meal courtesy of the hotel, Naruto went on the move to begin his next course of action, establishing a source of income. The tour guides were kind enough to give him a list of organizations that could possibly help him with that. However, before that, he made his way to a bank. His goal? To get a loan to establish his own business. Thanks to his year-long stay in Japan, Naruto learned a lot about civilian stuff that he normally didn't care for, since being a shinobi was intended to be his lifelong career. One of these things is loans and credit. Since Naruto has saved a lot of money and decided to open a universal account, he is able to build up his credit to make big purchases. His first main investment, his own shop. He thought long and hard about the type of business he wanted to do. But after seeing the lack of his favorite meal, it became obvious what he wanted to do. As he entered the bank, he began to think back to that one small stand in his old home. The memories that he had there. He can't wait to bring that same energy to this town. Don't worry Tucci, AM. Your cooking may have been lost to time, but from now on, Ichiraku Ramen will live once again. With a smile on his face, he entered the bank, thinking of once again, tasting the food of the gods. Nighttime Naruto's hotel. With so many errands that needed to be done, Naruto was fairly busy. However, it will all be worth it in the end. He was approved for his loan for his restaurant and he even had a good spot for it right at the entrance in Chinatown. He also sent his online application to join Buckler's basic combat training, specifically the advanced course. His scheduled test will be the next day at noon. After the bank, he secured a job that will keep him afloat until his shop is ready. Lastly, he met with the leasing office of the apartment complex that he was interested in. They were skeptical at first, after all, he have income yet, but once they saw his bank account, they seemed to be more at ease. For now though, since they need to wait for some paperwork to be approved, he will stay in the hotel until his move-in day. So, with such a busy day, one would assume that he'd be tired and want to rest as soon as he got back to his room. Well, those that thought that didn't know Naruto. Once he got home, he traded his casual clothes, which were a white t-shirt with the red spiral from his headband on the front, black pants, and his sandals, to his combat gear he wore the first day he arrived in Metro City. He heard from the tour guides that the rowdier members of the city arrive at night. They also said that while not guaranteed, staying near public areas like Beat Square and Chinatown can allow individuals some peace of mind. Alright Metro City. Let's see if you can handle Naruto Uzumaki. This was the main thought he had as he left the hotel to enjoy Metro City's nightlife. Beat Square. Oh, it was a sight alright. As soon as Naruto arrived there were at least 3 fights happening at different parts of Beat Square. It seems like the people here really do enjoy the thrill of a fight. As he continued to walk around though, he spotted 3 individuals that gave off a different kind of vibe. First off, they all wore a similar color schemes of red, black, or white. There was one male, tanned skin, in the middle, and he was flanked by 2 females. Or what he assumes based on their build since their faces can't be seen due to a cardboard box used to cover them. Mad Gear gang members. He remembered the tour lady mentioned them. They once practically ruled the city, but thanks to their major Mike Hager, their best days were behind them. Now they can only be really active and impactful at night away from the public areas. DCH, cowards after all, using cardboard to cover their face, while logical, was in his eyes, cowardly. And also, while understanding their reasoning, hiding behind something like will only make them stand out more. Since everyone knows that those that do that are up to no good. One thing he did notice though, was that the male in the middle was radiating Kai. Naruto has come to learn that those that are able to channel Kai have been trained in some form of martial arts. Since chakra is simply a much purer form of Kai, he's able to sense it as well. Of everyone around him, not only was the male Mad Gear member one of the few that has Kai, but also had the most by a decent margin over the next guy, which was the fire breather performer. He continued to look at them as they walked towards a young man, Caucasian skin, light brown hair, average build and height, and had what looked like a shoulder camera and a black backpack. He got closer to hearing what they were going to say. Well. What do we have here? The male member stepped up to the young man while also looking at his backpack, making him very uncomfortable. Hey man. I'm kind of about to do something with my camera, I'm sorry for getting in your W. As he turned around trying to leave, but the back of his collar was grabbed by the male member and he was thrown against the side of stairs in the middle of Beat Square. Ha, judging by your accent, you're not from here, are you? One of the female members, she had dark skin and wore a black top under a red leather jacket and red leather pants, stated as she kicked the young man in the midsection, causing him to gasp in pain. And looky here, I don't see a red wristband, do you guys? The other female, Caucasian skin and with a black crop top, red leather pants and a chain attached to her hip, followed up her partner's attack by stomping on the man's head, making him yell out again in pain as she grinds the bottom of her shoe on him. Well ladies, I think it's time we welcome this foreigner to the nightlife in Metro City, shall we? He finishes as he cracks his knuckles and also cocking back his fist. While he did this, the two girls went on each side of the downed man, lifted him up by his arms and held him in place, ready to receive what looked like a powerful blow. As Naruto watched this, he began to wonder if anyone was going to step in. It's clear he was foreign, but one look around and he saw fear in everyone's eyes. He also began to hear whispers about the male member. Poor guy, don't know what he did to make that man angry at him, looks like he isn't much a fighter, you know what they say, if you can't fight, best just leave the city. All of them were talking, but no one was moving. Then, he sensed it, the male gang member channeled Kai into his punch, similar to how Luke did it with his uppercut. Realizing the situation, Naruto acted. Having the perfect technique for such an occasion. As the punch was about to connect, the gang members heard someone scream, "Dynamic entry." Next thing they knew, a foot connected with the side of the male gang member's cheek, sending him flying in the opposite direction. Before any of the two females could react, Naruto landed 3 jabs to the Caucasian woman's gut, then performed a monkey flip, sending her flying as well. The last female tried to kick Naruto in the calf, but Naruto lightly jumped over the kick while spinning around with his leg cocked back and landed a vicious roundhouse kick to her face. As all the members were sent flying away, the young man started to collapse from the earlier beating. Naruto caught him and rested him against the wall of the stairwell. Alright, whichever fucker did that will wish they never had legs at all. The male member seemed to recover, now noticing that his two partners were knocked out as well. He looks back at the young man, only to see that another man, blonde and with a headband, standing in front of the brown-haired guy. "I never seen your face round here, who are you?" he said, trying to eye up the mysterious blonde. "It's polite to give your name before asking someone else, shut your mouth punk. I don't care about no respect, tell me who you are." The male member yelled back, clearly mad at the blonde. Oh, this should be fun. With that thought, he changed his pose to that similar to a silver-haired sensei he had in his childhood. "I'm sorry. Did you say something?" To put emphasis on that, he also stuck his pinky in his right ear, pretending to clean it out. "Oh, so we got a jester, huh? Well, normally I ask for the name of the person who I'm about to destroy, but I guess jester will do this time." He started as he gathered more Kai in his arms, preparing to go on the offensive. Expecting Naruto to do the same, to his frustration, the blonde didn't react at all. "Well, I thought I'd give you a fighting chance to power up, but since you insist on wasting time, I'll gladly decorate this place with your blood." He rushes forward, faking a slide kick, only to pivot and do a front flip overhead kick instead. To his surprise, not only did the blonde dodge it, but he also didn't change his stance at all, instead he placed his hand in his pockets. Getting more enraged this time, he charged a straight punch and launched himself to the blonde. Once again, the blonde does a pivot on his heel, spinning away from the punch, then tilted his head out of range from the backhand as well. Then he ducked under a front kick as well. Getting more and more frustrated, the gang member jumped backwards to gather himself again. You think that all that dodging is doing anything? Well, news flash, I can do this all night. Sooner or later, you will mess up. He states. Then the blonde takes one hand out of his jacket pocket and began to search for something in the pouch on his hip. He and the rest of the spectators waited in anticipation for some sort of knife or something that could deal damage. What the blonde took out caused everyone to face fault. Instead of a tool, he had a brochure. Either it was due to the lighting or how he was holding it, people can only make out a beautiful woman doing different fighting stances in tight leggings. Opening the brochure, the blonde began to read it before looking over at the confused male gang member. Oh, well, since this was beginning to bore me, I decided to do more research. After all, this is only my second day in the city, so I have much to explore. He states, all while never looking up from the brochure. Once his brain restarted, the gang went from confused to downright furious. Alright, Blondie. I had it with your shit. I was actually going to go easy on you, but now you will be broken right here, right now. Launching in a blinding rage, the man swung wildly at the blonde, who continued to dodge and move around him. This continued until the gang member threw a sand blast at the blonde. Instead of dodging, Naruto blocked it, using the smoke to disappear from man's vision. Hey, stop hiding, you fight me like a man. While looking around, he was unable to see him anywhere. Then he heard a voice. Never let the opponent get behind you. It wasn't until one of the female gang members that recovered yelled at him, realizing it too late. He's behind you. Too late, the blonde man was seen crouching behind the male gang member with his fingers in the tiger sign aimed at oh dear. Leaf Village secret hand jutsu. 1,000 years of death. Nothing happened at first. It was almost jarring seeing such a populated area so deathly quiet. Then what followed next will be remembered by everyone who witnessed it live. Ay. With a yell of sheer pain, the male gang member was launched several feet into the air, landing about 200 feet away from the blonde man. Once he landed, his butt had smoke coming off it and he was knocked out cold. Only the slight twitching in his body indicated that he was alive. His face was also red from landing on concrete. Utter humiliation. Soon a large portion of the crowd began to laugh hard. The remaining two female members, with a slight limp, quickly got to their partner and carried him off, more grateful than ever about the boxes on their heads. As the crowd began to disperse, Naruto notices that the brown-haired man was struggling to get up. With a sigh, he walks over to him, while also grabbing the shoulder camera that fell off of him when he was launched. Yo, are you okay? Naruto stated, helping the man to a chair table. He didn't get much of a response other than grunts, but the man eventually nodded. He took off the backpack, opened it and began to fix something. Naruto looked into the backpack and saw pieces of technology that he didn't really know. Then the man speaks. Damn it. I hoped that the camera would have made it, but it looks like I lost that. At least the expensive stuff isn't damaged. As he continues to check in the bag, Naruto sits in the chair across from him. Well, sorry about not interfering earlier. I'm also new to the city, so I'm still getting used to it. He states while placing the camera on the table, by the way, I saw this fall off of you, I hope it isn't too damaged. Looking up from the bag, the man saw the camera, grabbed it and inspected it. With a sigh, he places it back on the table, pointed at himself. Well chat, sorry about all of this. As some of you can tell, I think I'll end the stream early today. I hope to update you all soon. Until then, please don't forget to follow me and get notified when I am live again. Bye. The man finishes stating, turning off the camera and then turning off whatever machinery was in his bag. Listen, I can't thank you enough for what you did. If you didn't show up, I'd risk losing everything and more. He says as he sighs and leans back in his chair. By the way, my name is Zachary or Zach, but I also go by my username Barracuda. He says while looking at Naruto, trying to judge his response. My name is Naruto. Username. So, you are one of those content creators? Naruto asked, having passive knowledge on the subject since the old man Yoshi's mentioned them. You know, I'm not too surprised that you don't know me, since I'm not too big, but I thought I'd be more recognizable. He says, both sounding grateful and somewhat distraught. Yes, I'm a content creator, specifically, I both live stream and release videos on YouTube. Here, have a look. He says, pulling out a phone and showing Naruto his channel. I may not understand popularity on the internet, but 3 million subscribers sounds like a lot. It was indeed true. A YouTube channel called Barracuda had over 3 million subscribers. And some of the videos listed had a picture of Zach's face. I do a bunch of different content. Ranging from Earl streams to playing games, voice acting, and I even write and produce music. By listing off all the things he said, it caused Naruto to be both impressed and curious. From what I'm seeing, most of your videos are taking place in Japan. What are you doing here? Naruto asked, since it was clear that Zach was way out of his comfort zone. Naruto may know how the world works, but there are still some things that don't make sense to him. How does making videos on random stuff get you money? The websites are free and there isn't any security as well. I actually came here to live. You see, I'm originally from Wales, but I moved to Japan when I turned 20 years old. For the following 7 years, I made videos about Japan and all the weird things that happened. As he continued, Naruto grew invested in the story. I soon realized that I made so much content that there was nothing left for me to do in Japan. As you may know, if you aren't making original content consistently, then you lose money. So, I made the decision to come to Metro City. He finishes as stated by Naruto continued the same thought process. I see. With how weird this city and the areas around it are, you'd have fresh ideas to make, correct? Naruto asked, receiving a nod from Zack. I actually was doing my first stream just now. I was about an hour into it when that occurred. He says getting sad again, I lost my red wristband about 3 days ago, so this was my first time out since then. I guess my luck was bad today with those three. Looking over in the direction the gang members left the area, he tightens his fist. I know this city is dangerous, but I made this decision so that I can continue doing what I love. With that a look of determination appears and he tries to stand up, but with shaky legs, he begins to collapse until Naruto catches him. Thank you Naruto. You know, since I've moved here, I struggle to make friends since everyone seems so cold. So, I thank you for helping me out. Friends. For once, Naruto realized that he himself lost them as well. Feeling a bit of kinship to Zack, he smiles and holds his fist out to Zack. Yeah, no worries. I hope we continue to talk. It would be nice to have someone else from Japan to talk to in this crazy town. With a grin he shakes his closed fist at Zack, who in return smiles back and fist bumps him. If it isn't too much to ask, can you help me get to my apartment? I don't live too far from here. Zack says. With a nod, Naruto listens to the instructions of where to take Zack. Oh, I'm about to be your neighbor, I just got accepted for a leasing contract there. Looks like it was destiny meeting you. Naruto says as they head to the complex. But this friendship, Naruto didn't realize at the time, but his message and success would be aided by this man that he saved on a random night. Tomorrow was a new day, as Naruto made his way back to his hotel room, he prepared for the examination that was to come. I told you Metro City. You best be prepared for Naruto Uzumaki. Chapter 3. The Art of Misconception. Metro City, BBTC Training Center. January 14, 2009, 11:55 a.m. Humanity has grown weak. Okay, that sounded insulting, but how else was he supposed to state it? The once powerful shinobi of his era are long gone. Over the past year in Japan, he'd hoped to possibly find something, anything that can be traced back to his time. However, as training took much of his time, this search eventually was abandoned by him. After all, what can exist for so long? Anyways, back to the original statement. As Naruto went to sleep the previous night, he was remembering the fight beatdown that occurred earlier that same evening. When morning came and it was time for Naruto to head out, he began to analyze the fight. The Mad Gear member was clearly experienced in fighting. He had good form, solid movement, and a clear understanding of how to channel Kai into his attacks. So why was it so easy to beat him? Naruto was able to sense his Kai capacity. His ability to judge one's strength was something he took pride in. With nothing but shinobi from his own time to compare these modern-day fighters with, it almost made it impossible for anyone to surprise him. So, out came the comparison. The male gang member, if he were to be honest, had the strength and Kai capacity to match a mid-level Chunin. Someone like Iruka-sensei is a fair comparison in strength and capacity. However, two things that clearly separates that gang member and ninja of Iruka's caliber are speed and variety. Despite having similar capacities, Kai is a lot more limited in what it can do. Where chakra can be used for thousands of different things. From using the terrain like wall or water walking, using elemental-based jutsu, maneuvering the battlefield, enhancing the body, heal wounds, etc. One ninja has so many different options to use chakra, where Kai users seem to have a specialized purpose for their usage, based on the martial arts they learn. Speed is the other factor at play. Naruto, by putting it nicely, barely had to try and move out of the way from his opponent's attacks. Sure, they were full of power and if they were to connect, he doubted most Chunin could take more than 3 to 4 fully charged attacks, but they were telegraphed and easy to predict. Not to mention slow. It didn't matter how much power he put into those attacks, they were just too slow moving for Naruto or even some experienced ninja to get hit with. Without question, someone of Iruka's caliber can run circles around that guy both figuratively and literally. Of course, that isn't to say that Naruto has lost all hope in modern-day fighters. For one, the BBTC's head instructor does interest him greatly. While the gang member had stats comparable to mid-Chunin, Luke was more closely comparable to a mid-rank Jonin. Well, speed is still a problem for Luke, as it's hard to see anyone of modern times that can move like a shinobi. His reaction speed is a different story. Naruto has come to understand that reaction speed and normal speed are two different aspects in combat that are used for different things in a fight. Raw speed helps with controlling the tempo, as well as grants greater maneuverability. Reaction speed is all about timing blocks, punches, kicks, dodging, evading, and of course counter-attacks. Luke, well faster than the Mad Gear member, isn't exactly the same as someone like Anko at raw speed. But his reaction speed is more than comparable to someone like Ebisu and Anko. Not to mention that he also is a lot stronger than the Mad Gear member, had greater Kai capacities, is more experienced, has excellent instincts, more stamina, better durability, and a better form. Overall, Luke definitely compares to some mid-level jonin. Why is Naruto bringing up Luke's stats? It's because he is about to face him for his entrance exam. Naruto, since he was brought back from being turned to stone, has been stretching his senses to judge the strength of any elite fighters of the planet. To say he was a little disappointed was an understatement. It appears that those that have Kai of any capacity are rare. A large portion of the world can be described as civilians from his time. Even then, most seem slightly weaker than those from his era. It's not surprising since even civilians from his time had some chakra in their bodies. Since chakra is a pure form of Kai, it's logical to assume they would also be slightly stronger. Anyways, another thing he noticed was that Kai users can hide their actual levels and blend in with the civilians. This is why Luke surprised him. He didn't sense Luke's Kai until he started to fight with that other guy. This all leads to one question in Naruto's head: how should he approach his exam? On one hand, he wants to go all out, force Luke to release more of his hidden power, and test just how strong he really is. Naruto isn't as strong as he wants to be, his current level is that of a low-level jonin. However, there is something that does bother him a little bit. Exposure. From what he understands, Luke is in an elite class of fighters, most have had a long and decorated fighting record. If he was to defeat Luke while they were going all out, eyes would turn to him. After all, up until last year, he was essentially undocumented in any country. Call him paranoid, but he doesn't want the world to know he exists just yet. Which leads to the other option. Hold back and only showcase the bare essentials. Naruto's goal with leaving Japan was to gain more information on the world. What state is the world in, how have humans utilized Kai, as well as what technologies exist. There is also the risk of any nation reacting negatively to his presence and deeming him a threat. Besides that, he still isn't at max power and has a long road before he even claims to be fully recovered. So, by swallowing his pride, Naruto made his decision on what he would do for the exam. As he approaches the doors to enter the training center, ready to put on a performance. Let's just hope I can convince him with my performance. Naruto's last thought before as he opens the doors and walks in. 12:15 p.m. Before he enters the gym, he is guided to the main desk of the gym. They confirm his identity, gives him some forms to sign, a waiver about potential injuries during the exam, and finally review his credentials. Once that was completed, the staff member asked for his sizes. At first, he was confused, but gave it to them. They went to the back and came back with a white tank top, orange sweatpants, and yellow padded gloves. These were complimentary workout clothes for those that want higher quality equipment. After accepting the gift, he decided that since he has it, might as well use them. Before he enters the gym, he puts on the training gear. Originally, he was fine with just using his own wardrobe, but since he decided to play the role of talented but inexperienced, Naruto didn't see any harm in putting it on. It also helps that there is a lot of orange on this outfit. Of course, the presence of his favorite color helped him make the decision as well. One wardrobe change later. As Naruto left the locker rooms and entered the gym, he saw a lot more people than the day before. Not only were there more staff present, but more trainees as well. All were either going through the motions or using the equipment to develop their bodies. Naruto also noticed that the guy that took the exam yesterday was here as well. Though, he was seen practicing his form near the corner of the gym. Finally, his eyes land on the head instructor of the gym. Luke Sullivan. His back facing Naruto, but he can clearly be seen wailing on a poor punching bag. His blows were both fast and powerful. Naruto was sure 40% of the sounds from the gym were mostly from Luke's strikes. Finally, after a particularly solid blow, Luke is seen winding one more powerful punch. When it landed, the punching bag was seen disconnected from the chain and sent flying to the back wall, on top of a pile of at least 4 others like it. The sound of the bag slamming into the wall caught everyone's attention. Soon everyone was seen looking at their instructor with awe. Impressive, there was no Kai behind that final punch. He's a lot stronger than I originally thought. While yes, Naruto has seen bigger feats of strength, without any energy enhancements, it was still impressive to see. A sigh was let loose by Luke as he wiped some sweat that accumulated on his forehead. This is when he finally notices Naruto. Turning his whole body around, he speaks out loud. You're my new recruit?" He asks Naruto, who nodded his head in return. Luke then turns around to address the gym. "Kids, take a breather." As the gym begins to calm down as trainees were seen shuffling to the side of the gym, near the fans, Luke once again turns around and smiles at Naruto. He motions Naruto to walk more into the center of gym. As Naruto drew closer, Luke began to speak once again. "Welcome. This is Buckler Security Services." He points to himself. "I'm Luke, the coach around here." He then asks Naruto. "You're here for basic training, right?" Naruto nods his head. "Alright, let's get you measured up." Luke motions for one of his assistants, a young brunette lady with a blue BBTC shirt, black pants, and boots, to bring Naruto over to the measuring station. Wait, we are doing this with everyone watching. Naruto didn't really care if anyone saw him, but since he was putting on a facade, he decided this was something that needed to be said. For once, Luke realizes that the trainees stayed in the gym to see this new recruit. "Does that bother you?" Luke asks. Naruto was about to respond before Luke slapped him on the back, pushing Naruto to his assistant. "Well, consider this your first lesson, breaking out of your shell." With a chuckle, he then finishes, "Feeling uncomfortable means that you can grow faster." With that, Naruto allowed the lady to take his measurements. Moments later. "Alright, let's see here. Name, Naruto Uzumaki, hope I said that right. Dob is October 10, height, 6 feet, weight, 180 pounds, a little on the lighter side. Okay, this all checks out." Luke is now seen holding a gym ID with all of Naruto credentials. Double checking to see if everything is correct. "Yeah, gotta say, you're photogenic." Luke states as he looks away from the ID and back at Naruto. He hands the ID to Naruto and begins to speak once again. "Alrighty then, that should wrap up your enrollment. Again, you can call me Luke, or if you feel extra formal, Coach." Naruto nods. "Okay then. I hope you're ready to begin." Luke begins to walk away from Naruto, creating about 10 feet of separation between them. Then, Luke turns around to speak again. "First, let's go over the basics." Naruto looks somewhat confused, but Luke beats him to the punch. "Now I know what you're thinking. I signed up for the advanced course, why do I need to go over the basics?" "Well, the simple response is to make sure you are ready for this level." Luke states as one of his assistants, Reed intern, comes out in a ridiculous looking outfit. His entire body is covered in padding. It almost looks like he is wearing armor. "I want you to perform a series of punches, kicks, grabs, or any other form of techniques that you know. I only ask that you keep it non-lethal." With that, Luke moves to the side and the assistant moves forward. Think of this as a freestyle pre-test before your actual exam. You have 1 minute. With that, Naruto and the assistant get ready, starting now. With that, Naruto wasted no time and closed the gap. Deciding to showcase some level of skill, he faked a left punch to head, then followed up with 2 low body shots to the assistant. After that, the assistant backed off, but not enough, since he followed after him with an overhead kick. The assistant blocked using his forearms but fell to one knee due to the impact. This allowed Naruto to rush the assistant with a fake body punch. This fake punch got the assistant to flinch in preparation for the impact, only for Naruto instead wrap his right arm across the shoulders of the assistant, connecting it with his left hand. What followed was a simple step through with Naruto using his right leg to trip the assistant, causing both to fall to the ground. However, with how Naruto had his hands around the assistant, this motion caused the lock to turn into an arm triangle stranglehold, leading to a tapping out motion from the assistant. Think of how Annie from AT finished off Eren in their first fight. Luke blew a whistle, causing Naruto to loosen the hold and get up. He tried to assist the down man up, only to see that they were still dazed. Clapping, not bad at all. I can see that you are not a faker. Luke walks up to the assistant, grabbing him by the arms and handing him over to 2 more staff. He then turns around to Naruto. Sorry about not telling you about that, it's something that my team recommended, since we don't want people overestimating their own capabilities. He says, motioning Naruto to follow him to the middle arena, which was the biggest. As you may have heard, despite how boring they are, the basics are always important for anyone at any level. Hell, even the biggest rockets need strong stable launching pads before liftoff. The same applies here. He states as he stretches his arms and neck. Now with that out of the way, now it's time for me to test you out. Before he could finish, someone interrupted. Hey coach. How is any of that? The same guy that took the exam the previous day was seen speaking from the second floor rail, going to help him handle this. He jumps from the rail, ready to kick Naruto. Luke was getting ready to push Naruto out of the way, but he noticed that not only did Naruto react in time, but he also dodged the kick by timing his grab, allowing him to redirect the kick over to his side, causing the guy to land past him. The guy gets up immediately and begins to circle around Naruto. Which of course, Naruto followed suit. Luke, realizing what was about to happen, with a frustrated sigh, decided to step aside and supervise the fight. Naruto gets a serious look. I know I'm new here, but aren't you taking the phrase hazing the rookie to a new level? This earned a growl from his opponent. Shut up. Get ready for the real thing. With that, the guy launched towards Naruto with another kick. Like the previous one, Naruto guided the kick with a timed palm strike to the side of his body. This time, instead of letting him recover, Naruto rushed him with a series of body shots. Most of them were blocked, which allowed the black hair to break the combo with his own assault. He started by going for a low kick to the legs, which Naruto merely lifted his leg over, then he followed up with spin, that ended with a forward elbow aimed at Naruto's chest. Using his forearms, Naruto blocked the attack by creating an X shape in front. Naruto made a grabbing motion, which led to the guy retreating, creating 5 feet of separation. I'm performing too well. I need to remain in character. Naruto states as he launches with a jumping punch, which his opponent stepped aside and landed a strong punch to Naruto's stomach. This caused a groan of pain to leave Naruto's mouth as the guy again went for another gut punch only for Naruto to grab the fist, allowing him to land an elbow to his opponent's face. However, his opponent recovered quickly and hit Naruto with straight kick to the chest, then a kick to his leg and tried to land an uppercut, but Naruto jumped back. What's the matter, can't handle it when they fight back? Naruto knew that he shouldn't take the taunt to heart. But something about this guy made him want to beat him. Just because I'm acting doesn't mean that I have to lose this fight. Making up his mind, Naruto decided to end it. He launched forward aiming a punch to the head of his opponent. His opponent moved his head to dodge, but Naruto anticipated it, faking it, then switching his punch into an elbow to the gut of his opponent. Quickly recovering, the guy did a series of punches, all were blocked by Naruto. One punch left him open to a sidekick, then Naruto landed another punch to the chest, ending the attack with a drop kick, sending him back a couple feet. After getting up, Naruto senses his opponent gathering Kai to his fist. Naruto, seeing the perfect way to end the fight, gathered a small amount of chakra as well. Both launched at each other, everyone, including Luke, waiting to see who would win the clash. Only for Naruto to once again duck under the punch, which led to the same fist he stuck out to land a big hit on the guy's gut. Before the guy finished bending over the fist, Naruto spun around and landed a spinning heel kick which connected with the guy's cheek. The fight was over. The guy landed a couple feet away, face first into the mat. He then turned himself around, his eyes closed in pain, and he was seen taking in heavy breaths. Luke approached the down man. "Gosh, come on man, are you really going to be the type to jump before you think?" He had his arms crossed and looked down at the now named Bosch, who somewhat recovered and was now sitting up holding his gut. Bosch, seeing the look of disapproval from Luke, spoke again, "But coach, that was the kind of situation I want to learn to deal with." Slowly getting up, he then looks at Naruto's direction. "You're not here to just throw punches either, right?" Bosch states, hoping to get an agreement from Naruto, who simply didn't give his response but rather looked at Luke and wait for what he would say. Luke simply sighed, rubbing the back of his head. Alright. Whatever he was about to say was stopped by him realizing that these two hadn't met. He looked at Naruto. "This is Bosch, he signed up and joined the same level of course as you did," he said as Bosch stood next to him, somewhat recovered from the blow. "Boch, this is Naruto. Look, both of you are my trainees and joined at the same time for the same course, in a sense, you both will be like siblings, so try to play nice." Naruto reached out his hand towards Bosch. "It's nice to meet you." Instead of returning the gesture, Bosch looks back at Luke. "Coach, we both came here looking for strength." Bosch begins to state. "Okay, what do you mean we?" Bosch's goals for this course were not Naruto's. "If both of us are trying to find that strength, sooner or later, one of us is going to get there first. What happens to the other person, then? Ah, the good old fear of being left behind. We all know that nobody's going to be friends then, so why pretend now? Sheesh, talk about a cold shoulder." Luke, who appears to be free-spirited and laid back, turned serious as he tried to come up with a response. "Ah Bosch, my man. That's a really tough question." He pauses, coming up with what to say next. "You got to figure out what strength means to you before you go out looking for it." He turns to Bosch. "If you go looking for the wrong things and you really might end up in that situation someday." Okay, bonus points for a solid response. Luke then takes a pause and looks at both of them. "But you know what, you can cross that bridge when you get to it. You two are still my plucky little trainees." He places his right fist over heart, tapping it, then spoke again. "Listen to what your coach says and put your hearts into your training. Focus on that." After finishing his statement, he pats both Naruto's and Bosch's backs in a friendly way. Bosch groans, rubs the back of his head, and look at his hand. He sees that Naruto still has his hand standing out. With a smile he turns to Naruto and shakes his hand. "Good match Naruto. There, much better. That's what I like to see." Now, you said you wanted to do something more practical, correct? Bosch nods at the question. Well, practicality comes in many forms. He says as he walks to a part of the wall that, after looking at it, is actually a sliding door. If you want to start off on the right foot in the city, he states before opening the door, then turning to his students, pointing at the outside world, hit the streets. Beat Square, 1:30 p.m. After a bit of a walk, both Bosch and Naruto found themselves at Beat Square, the heart of Metro City. As they walked, Naruto continued to wonder about his fellow trainee. While Kurama was the one that granted him the ability to sense emotions, Naruto himself would say he could sense bad intentions fairly well. This leads to Bosch's earlier statements and actions. While Naruto can't see any negative intentions, Bosch does seem to be in a rush of sorts when it comes to getting stronger. Moreover, he is obsessed with getting stronger. But for what? Not to mention his eyes. When they shook hands, Naruto got a glimpse into his eyes. Naruto knows that eyes are the window to a person's real emotions. One thing that he saw from Bosch was something he hadn't seen since his youth, vengeance. It's like looking at his once best friend. Bosch, for all intents and purposes, was driven by revenge. Who or what it is hasn't been fully clear yet. Either way, Naruto doesn't like it one bit. He hopes that this little real-world training session would get Bosch to open up a little bit. He notices that Bosch is speaking to him, actual hands-on experience on the streets. Beating up the bad guys around here should do the trick. Getting no response, Bosch sighs, sorry, did the joke fly over your head? What part of that statement was the joke? Naruto thought before he let Bosch continue. He is seen taking out his phone. At any rate, I was told this would point us towards our next steps. He then receives a ding, oh, hang on a minute, I got a message from coach, there is app on your phone, check it out. With that, Naruto also took out his phone to see. Among all his old apps appeared a new one that was simply titled Missions. Apparently, coach is going to be giving us tasks to do while we are not training at the gym. He calls them missions. Oh, missions, that brought back memories of both his childhood and of his friends. Looking at the new app, they see a new mission appear on the screen. It reads, new kids on the block, man that sounds lame. Naruto stated, Bosch agrees as they both read what they need to do. It seemed like we need to find someone by the name of Alice. She's supposed to be here and can't be missed. What the hell does that mean? They come to learn that maybe having a laid-back coach wasn't all that great. A person that can't be missed, well, that's helpful. As Naruto tries to find someone that fits that description, both he and Bosch see a rather short girl with red hair wearing an all-pink outfit. She's just standing near one of the light poles looking around as well. I think we found her. Naruto says as he and Bosch head over to her location. As they got closer, they saw that she was also wearing white glasses, a pink sports cap, pink gloves, and a green fanny pack. Why hello there. I'm Alice. And you must be. She stares at both of them, her serious expression then changes into a cheerful one, a couple of rookies who just want to get stronger, I take it. Well, when she puts it like that, it makes them sound lame. Wow, right on the money. How did you know it was us? Bosch asked, seeing if he could get a read on her. Seriously, it's practically written all on your faces. This comment causes both of them to stare at each other, causing a giggle to come from Alice. Kidding. You both are Luke's students, correct? He reached to me to help with your trainings. First off, your mission to find me was a success. With that, she opens her phone and presses something that causes dings to be heard from both Naruto's and Bosch's phones. Next up, how about we have ourselves a fight? They both look at each other in confusion. She walks them towards an open spot in Beat Square. Alright, Luke told me you both know how to channel Kai at a basic level. What I want you both to do is hit me with a combo that ends with a Kai-powered attack. Don't be scared to go all out, I'm tougher than you think. She says as she stretches. Bosch goes first and he goes for a low kick, gut punch combo that ends in a strong uppercut powered by Kai. To both of their surprise, she got up immediately. Not bad, though I can see some improvement, now how about your whiskers? Naruto decided to go with his signature technique. A fake punch to the face that leads to a gut punch, followed by an elbow, and ending in a triangle stranglehold that was powered by Kai to slam her to the ground. After he hit the attack, he got up and was a little nervous when she didn't get up. Instead stayed down. Alice, are you okay? Getting closer, he was about to poke her when she opened her eyes quickly and landed a punch in his face. It didn't hurt, it scared the crap out of him. Ha ha ha, gotcha. She gets up by kicking her legs up and landing on them. I got to admit, you are a lot stronger than I thought. Still, you have room to improve. She says as she opens her phone and does something on it again, leading to another round of dings from both Bosch's and Naruto's phones. Alright, time for your next steps. With that, for the next hour, Bosch and Naruto can be seen challenging different people that were around Beat Square. This went on until they met up with Alice at the top of the hour. Okie dokie, it still looks like you both are developing your street fighting legs. She begins to walk off. For now, I have no missions left for you. Luke should be reaching out soon, take care. With that she walked off, leaving Boch and Naruto back in Beat Square. They both received a message from Luke telling them to try out the local food. Okay, but then afterwards to head down south from Beat Square for their next steps. After trying out the local pizza truck, they headed towards their next location. However, instead of finding Alice or another instructor, they see two men with cardboard boxes on their heads charging at them. Realizing that this could be trouble, both got ready for the 2 versus 2 fight. Or so they thought. What ended up happening was that both Bosch and Naruto beat them down. It was almost as if they wanted to be beaten up. What gives? Their questions were answered once Alice showed up behind them. Howdy guys. I hope it didn't startle you. With that both men take off the cardboard boxes, which was Alice's cue to stand next to them. These two are my brothers, Ryan and Tracy. Tracy was the first to speak. When Luke reached out to Alice about assisting you both with training, we thought, why not get the family involved? Ryan spoke next, surprised about the boxes. The idea was that Tracy and I were supposed to imitate thugs on the streets. Tracy follows up, be careful out there, those thugs will attack anyone. In fact, most cases involve fighting off more than one opponent. So be prepared to engage multiple targets. With that Ryan finishes their reasoning for their mission. Both took out their phones and did what Alice had done earlier. The siblings bid farewell and stated that they will be around the city, so if they need more practical training, just find them. We got another message from Luke, he wants us to buy clothes now. Naruto states and lets Bosch know. They are both confused on how this will lead to learning about fighting. Well, aren't we new around here, maybe he thinks we need to explore the services that Metro City has to offer. Bosch states trying to understand what Luke is trying to get them to do. He appears to be frustrated about something. Nonetheless, both Naruto and Bosch head to the clothing store to buy their cheapest item. One shopping lapse later. As both Naruto and Bosch leave the store, they are both seen wearing a bright pink and white sports cap with BBTC's logo on it. Naruto looks at Bosch and snorts. Yeah, I know, this doesn't suit my look at all. Bosch looked really weird with the sports cap. I just wished coach would stop with these useless missions and get back to our real training. Again, with the impatience showing, Bosch is growing more frustrated. Both heard a ding, this caused Bosch to open his phone to see if they had a new mission. Well, coach is on his way to Beat Square, he says to find him to finish up for the day. With that, they both began to wander around the area, looking for Luke. Eventually, they see him coming out of the subway in more casual clothes. He is also wearing a sports cap, but is blue. He has on a military jacket with sleeves rolled up, a white blank shirt, ripped blue jeans, combat boots and green camouflage combat gloves. What's up? How's the city treating you both? Luke asks with a smile. Of course, this seems to put more doubt in Bosch's face. Coach, are we really getting stronger by doing all of this? It's a valid question. Other than the few fights they got into in the past hour, all they really did was shop and learn more about the Appen City. Doubting the wisdom of Ole Luke-sensei, I see. Responds nonchalantly as he begins to lead both of them to the opening from earlier. I may not be the most qualified, but I can say that you are not using sensei correctly, Luke. Naruto thinks about Luke's comment as a sweat drop appears on Naruto's head. Once they all found themselves in the opening, Luke once again speaks, alright then. Let's see how far along you've both come. Don't worry about taking turns, just rush me. With that, Luke gets into his fighting stance. The crowd around them got excited. Most seemed to know who Luke was, so it makes sense they'd enjoy seeing him fight. Naruto and Bosch stand next to each other. Both were thinking about how to approach this fight. I think it's too early for me to go all out. While it would be fun and entertaining, I think it's best that I stick to what I've shown so far. With that thought, Naruto has decided on his game plan. Bosch had a slightly different thought process, at 2 versus 1. How strong does our coach think he is? No matter. Maybe, if I show him that I can handle him on my own, he might amp up my training. It'll catapult me to my goals faster. With that, Bosch made the first move. He launched himself with a sliding kick, intending on striking fast and early. As he got closer, he was expecting Luke to jump over it, which he did. However, Bosch didn't anticipate a counter kick to his own head, which led to him rolling out of the way. As Bosch got back to his feet, he was met with a blast of Kai to his chest. This caused him to stumble back in pain, allowing Luke to close the distance with a strong punch that nailed Bosch in the gut and followed by a rising uppercut. With that, Bosch was sent flying back into the direction of Naruto. Naruto got next to him and tried to help him up, but Bosch shrugged Naruto's hand off of his shoulder and stood up again. Luke spoke again. Come on, Bosch. You can't make the same mistake as your entrance exam. I thought you knew better than to rush headfirst into everything. As Luke lectured, an audible growl of frustration left Bosch's mouth. He tried to charge again, but was stopped by a firm hand on his shoulder. Listen Bosch, I don't know what you are trying to prove, but if we have shot at beating our lovely coach, we need to work together. Please set aside your emotions for now, if we work together, we can do some serious damage. With a grin, Naruto realized that Luke was trying to teach them a lesson. Something that he himself is familiar with. Teamwork. The concept that, while easy to understand, many still refuse to use and utilize. Separate, they can only get so far, but if they work together, they can get much further. Naruto just hopes that Bosch sees it. Meanwhile, Bosch lets out an audible growl again, closes his eyes, and speaks. I guess you're right. What do you suggest? He looks back at Naruto without turning his body away from Luke. I can distract him. For the most part, I am confident in my blocking and parrying, with me distracting him, try to throw your own attacks when his back is facing you. Naruto stated as he took a couple steps towards Luke. With a nod, Bosch and Naruto got ready to rush Luke again. Oh. You guys done plotting my demise. In a playful tone, Luke got ready as well for what was to come. This time, Naruto rushed in, but instead of a strong attack, Naruto ran until he was about arm's reach from Luke and got into a defensive stance. Expecting an attack, Luke decided that since Naruto wanted it, he'll start the attack. What followed was a series of body shots, chest shots, and low kicks to try and get Naruto to break his defense. To the surprise of all, including Luke, he was deflecting almost all of the attacks. In a lot of those blocks, he had a clear chance to land an attack, why isn't he? Getting more confused on Naruto's strategy, he almost didn't react in time to Bosch's charge punch aimed at his back. When Luke moved out of the way at the last possible moment, he was nailed by a powerful punch to the face from Naruto. Stumbling back, he saw that Naruto rushed him again, and he threw a low kick at Naruto's legs. It connected and caused Naruto to stumble. Getting ready to throw an uppercut, Luke was once again hit by a punch, this time in the back, by Bosch. Turning around, he threw a sand blast at Bosch, who tried to block it but still stumbled. Getting ready to attack Bosch, he was hit again by a leg sweep, causing him to fall to ground. Catching himself with his elbows, he sees that a downward axe kick, courtesy of Naruto, was heading for his head. Luke rolled out of the way, which caused Naruto's kick to leave cracks in the concrete. Luke, as he rolled out of the way and got to his feet, took notice at the damage. Oh god. That was just his raw strength too, is he holding back? Before he could continue thinking about Naruto's true abilities, Bosch tried to kick him in the back of the head. Luke reacted this time and ducked out of the way, causing Bosch to be off balance for a bit. He was about to retaliate, but once again, Naruto landed another hit, this time a kick to Luke's side, causing Luke to stumble back and create distance from the two. Sweating a bit now, Luke is realizing that these are working perfectly together. It kind of makes him happy. Look at them. Not even a full day together and they already know how to work together. I can't help but feel proud of them. With that, he began to channel his Kai all around his body. Well, since they are working better than expected, I guess I can let loose a little more. Naruto senses an increase of power from Luke. It wasn't max power, but Luke is now taking them a little more seriously. Now he had two options, either try to match him at that level or stay at his current level. Naruto knows that since Luke doesn't expect him to be near his level of power, Naruto can take full advantage of it and defeat Luke. However, Naruto still has an act to play, so the choice was obvious. Luke didn't give them too much time to plan, he was already back on top of Naruto. Naruto got into a defensive stance again and prepared for another assault. Luke threw more punches with more power and speed than before. It was beginning to overwhelm him. Luke saw this and landed a low kick again, causing Naruto to drop his defense for a bit. Luke charged a flash knuckle punch, intending on hitting Naruto. Naruto, with no other choice, jumped back to create space, expecting Luke to cancel the attack. Instead, he pivoted and landed the same attack on Bosch, who was seen behind him going for a punch himself. When the attack landed, Bosch was knocked back again, however this time, Luke's Kai shot up again, and he threw several sand blasts at Bosch in rapid succession of each other, before ending the barrage with a bigger stronger blast, officially knocking Bosch out of the fight. I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting to use these level of techniques, but you and Bosch worked too well together. With that he turned back to Naruto, who got into a stance when he saw that Luke was approaching. And then there was one. So, Naruto, I hope you aren't too tired. I never got the chance to test you out myself. So, I'll use this as your assessment, okay? He smiles and charges Kai again. I hope you're ready for round 2, because here I come. With that, Luke and Naruto exchange blows for the next couple of minutes, getting more and more cheers from the crowd. Seconds after the fight, Naruto and Bosch are seen on the ground, breathing heavily, while Luke was seen standing just fine. However, he did seem somewhat winded and had sweat rolling off his forehead. Luke rolls his shoulders, a smile plaster on his face as he begins to talk again. So you two check out the city, see the sights, rack up some wins, and then you come back with the confidence to go toe-to-toe with your lovable coach. He says, finishing his stretches and getting closer to the two. The practical training paid off in spades. Am I right? Naruto and Bosch look at each other after that comment. If you want to make it in this world, you gotta do what you can, grind like crazy and not let up. Not for a second. Luke kneels in front of Bosch and Naruto before finishing his speech. The road to the top is long, but you just gotta take it one step at a time. He places his hands on both of their shoulders in reassurance, which causes Naruto and Bosch to nod back at each other. Both took that time to get up from the ground. Luke smiles at them, gets up and begins to take some steps back. Having his back turned, he continues to talk. The first step you both took just now. It's something to be proud of. He turns around, patting his chest with his fist, and then holds out the hand with a thumbs up. He smiles widely at them. Man, you two are great students. Naruto turns to Bosch, and he also gives him a smile. Bosch, shocked at the emotions shown, gives a less enthusiastic smile, but also seems grateful. Luke crosses his arms as he continues to inspect the two. I think that these two were forcing me to use some of my more advanced techniques, they have a lot of potential. Ha, you know what? You two make a darn good team. I don't think it'd be the worst thing for you two to take on the world together. He says, trying to encourage them. At the comment, Bosch's body language and emotions are seen to be darkening. Together. Bosch spoke softly, barely allowing Naruto or Luke to hear him say it. He is seen closing his eyes as well. Thinking hard about something. Uh-oh. He has that same look and feel again. Naruto senses the change in Bosch again. Luke doesn't seem to catch it yet, absolutely. Do some training like we did at the gym and around Metro City, then the two of you can go and travel the world. He says, gesturing to the open sky above. As Luke continued to speak, Bosch started shaking in anger, balling his fist, and his face contorted to that of rage. You can really get to know each other and toke on all comers. He goes back to looking at them, putting his hands on his hips like a superhero. Seriously, you'll have a blast. With that comment from Luke, Bosch was seen releasing that anger, instead replaced with something else. I'm sorry, I can't. Well. That killed the mood. Bosch continues, I need to be strong, and I need to be it now. He then turns to Naruto, I'm not like you. I can't go around treating this like a game. With that strong comment, Luke butts in, trying to calm down the situation. Bosch, come on. Luke was interrupted again by Bosch. Bosch took steps back, coach, I'm done with this course. He balls his fist again, I got things that I need to take care of. But you're right, this did give me some confidence. Thank you. He turns towards Naruto, with both an apologetic and grateful look. We only had one fight. Wish we could have had a more official rematch. Thank you, Naruto. With that, he quickly runs off. Luke and Naruto are both staring as he leaves. Seems like something really is bugging Bosch. Luke states as he looks at Naruto. Yeah, no shit. How did you not notice before? Naruto states in his mind. He felt it was obvious. Chasing after strength in a mad rush is a recipe for disaster. Let's just hope he doesn't stumble down any weird rabbit holes. Is that all you really have to say? You just lost a student. Naruto can kind of tell Luke isn't as prepared to be a teacher as he originally thought. Luke looks at Naruto with a sheepish grin, you know, to be honest, I don't consider myself much of a teacher. Prez said I was too much of a hothead. Had me teach new students to help chill me out a bit. That sounds like terrible advice to give to someone. Hot-headed individuals do tend to struggle with teaching. Naruto nods at Luke, letting him continue. I'm giving it the all-college try, but maybe my methods could use a little work with it. He changes the subject. Anyways, that does it for today's lesson. I'll be contacting you with this sucker from now on. Feel free to stop by the gym every once in a while for more direct instructions. As an advanced student, you get more freedom with my lessons. Since you have a very solid base of fighting, I'd recommend you hit the streets to get more practical training. Just try to avoid pushing your luck with gang members. He begins to walk off. Oh, if you see Alice, be sure to thank her for me. She has a lot to teach you, so don't go beating each other too much. I'll catch you later. With that, Luke heads off back to his gym. Naruto is now seen standing in the middle of Beat Square. He took a bit to think of what he wanted to do before heading off in the direction that Bosch went. The evening, near Chinatown, 7:30 p.m. Bosch was seen walking around the block before entering Chinatown. He has a look of determination on his face. Alright, this should be pretty simple. Most people here are not too tough. I should be able to go for. Before he continues discussing his plan, he notices a familiar blonde standing at the crosswalk in front of him. Naruto? What are you doing here? He approaches Naruto, both annoyance and impatience were apparent on his face. Naruto waits until Bosch is about a few feet away from him. I'm actually on my way to my new place of business, I'm doing some inspecting of a building I bought in Chinatown. Where are you going? Naruto answers somewhat truthfully, he'd actually just come back from doing just that. He just happened to sense Bosch's presence on the way out. I have business in Chinatown as well. He seems hesitant to respond. He's definitely hiding something. Anyways, I know you left the program, but I wanted to see if you had time to talk. Naruto said in a friendly smile, I know a good spot near here that has some good sushi. Care to join me? After looking closer at his expression, Bosch sees that Naruto wasn't going to take no for an answer. So, he nodded. With that, both headed towards Chinatown. In the restaurant. As they were seated at a booth for some privacy, Naruto began to inspect the menu. Bosch looks nervous, it seems like there is a pressure that is being exerted on him and he doesn't know where it's coming from. Why did you leave the course, Bosch? Naruto spoke while still looking over the menu, and the waiter brought over complimentary miso soup. Rushing strength is not something that will end well. This got a reaction from Bosch. DCH, what do you know, my reasons for leaving are just that. I need to get stronger sooner rather than later. With that he was getting ready to stand up and leave before Naruto spoke again. I know you want revenge on someone. Bosch gave Naruto a hardened look, was he so easy to read? I don't know what it is or who it is, but I do know that revenge is not something that should be your driving force for strength. Having seen what vengeance did to one of his old friends, he'd be damned if he let it happen again. What gives you the right to say that, huh? You probably lived a life full of peace and prosperity. Heh, I bet you don't know what's it like to have the symbol of your problems be paraded and worshipped even though it causes nothing but trouble. Bosch finally opened up. Even if it was with rage, Naruto now has a better understanding of the situation. Using some of his Kai, he regained control of the atmosphere. Bosch, it is true that I haven't lived your life, nor do I know of the problems that you face. I am telling you about this not as advice, but as a warning. Vengeance leads to nothing more than more pain and suffering. I know since it has cost me dearly already. Thinking back again to his situation with Sasuke. Someone who also was blinded by revenge. Bosch wanted to talk, but Naruto spoke again. Do you have someone you care for right now? Flashes of a little girl that looks like himself appears in Bosch's mind. What do you think will happen if the source of your vengeance is defeated or even killed? What happens if they have loved ones, wouldn't they develop hatred for you and all you hold dear? Naruto takes a small sip from his soup, giving Bosch time to sit back down and process what he is being told. Vengeance leads to hatred, that hatred breeds more vengeance, which creates a vicious cycle of rage, pain, and suffering. Is that something you are ready for or willing to have those you hold dear endure? That caused Bosch to think over his plan. Flashes of his sister, his family, his people, all came to vision, then flames were seen as these people and their homes are seen burning away, with him captured and being able to do nothing but watch. He never thought of it like that. Can he really put that much pain on his sister? He then looks back at Naruto. Seeing a calm look on his face as he continues to take a sip from his soup. You seen this happen before. Who was it? Bosch had to know what happened. After all, he wanted to see if Naruto was bluffing. Naruto stopped taking a sip, placed the bowl down, and looked back at Bosch. Before coming here, I lived in Japan. I had a friend who lost his family due to an assassin. For years, he trained, trying his hardest to grow strong. Eventually, his desire for revenge caused him to burn every bridge he had. His friends, his teachers, his sensei, even his potential partner. All for power. As Naruto continued, Bosch tried to see if anything seemed off about his story. Naruto continued, eventually, his lust for power led him down a path of crime, damaging the village every chance he got. Eventually, I had enough and we fought. I know how to fight since we both were trained as shinobi. However, I wasn't strong enough. It was close, but in the end, he won, nearly killing me. Bosch then saw that Naruto slightly lowered his collar, allowing Bosch to see the edges of a big scar on his chest. He can tell that Naruto isn't deceiving him. He achieved it, you know. He killed the assassin. However, the price was everything he held dear. His friends, his family not blood related, his partner, even his own mind. After some time, we met again, this time however, I came out as the victor. This led him to pay for his crimes. Naruto looks at Bosch, hoping his message comes through. Listen Bosch, I know you are an adult and you can choose to ignore me entirely. But over the past day, I've come to enjoy your company. You are only the second person I've considered my friend here. Naruto gazed more seriously as he stared into Bosch's eyes. A friend? Bosch has come to realize that he doesn't really have friends anymore. In fact, the more he thought of it, he already cut some bridges for the sake of revenge. He looks back at Naruto, who was still staring at him. Of course, as your friend, I ask you to at the very least heed my warning. I don't want to see someone else go down that path. With that, Naruto stopped staring and returned to sipping his soup. At this time, the waiter returned asking for their orders. Naruto placed an order for both of them to enjoy. I know I dumped a lot on you, Bosch, but I really hope you don't go down that path. It will only lead to unnecessary pain. Naruto smiles back at Bosch, as well as deactivating his Kai, causing Bosch to release a sigh from the lack of pressure. Naruto. Bosch started, before looking away from Naruto, trying to comprehend what they had just discussed. This is a lot to take in. If I'm honest, I'm more confused than ever before. You have given me a lot to think about. He looks back at Naruto, this time with a small smile. I thank you though, I haven't had someone I can call a friend for a long time. While I can't promise that I can change my views, I will still listen to your warning. I thank you, Naruto, for thinking me as your friend. He bows his head, which caused Naruto to release a playful chuckle. Come Bosch, there's nothing to it. Now, do you prefer you sake warm or chilled? With that, their dinner went on without a problem. Once they finished the meal, they left the restaurant. As they are about to go their separate ways, Naruto asks Bosch. Hey Bosch, I never got your contact info. Bosch, realizing the same thing, took out his phone and both exchanged numbers. Alright Bosch, I going to call it a night. Don't stay up too late. Naruto begins to walk away with his hands behind his head. He pauses before he turns his head back at Bosch with a fox-like grin. Remember, feel free to call me if you need anything. I'll be them to help however I can. Bosch nods his head and returns the smile. I thank you Naruto for the evening. I hope to see you soon. With that, both head off to do their own things. Once again, Naruto has no idea how much he just changed the world as a whole. Chapter 4. Meeting Street Fighter's Spring Beauty. Outside of Metro City. January 19, 2009, 7 a.m. As the sun begins to rise, a forest is seen with large pines stretching towards the sky. Despite it being in the middle of the winter season, no snow is really seen on the ground. These forests are a favorite attraction to both hikers and wildlife enjoyers that come and visit Metro City. Despite being so close to it, the mayor made it his job to protect the natural beauty of his country. Thus, establishing harsh policies to protect the trees and animals there. Truly, a must-see portion of Metro City. While a cool winter breeze passes through the landscape, animals of all shapes and sizes are seen wandering the wilderness. Peace and quiet is all that is present at the moment. Boom, crash. For a few moments. An explosion, followed by a large crash, was heard within the forest. This startled some of the wildlife, with birds flying away and many other animals following suit. After all, whatever made that noise had to be both big and dangerous. In a clearing. Or it can be a single blonde man. Okay, multiple blonde men that look the same. If anyone were to stumble upon this scene, they'd think something was wrong with them. However, this is just how Naruto Uzumaki starts his days ever since he has reawoken from stone training. While he learns more and more about Kai and its properties with Luke in his gym, Naruto is still trying to improve his own personal arsenal. Each passing week, he feels himself inching closer and closer to his full power once more. With the help of his shadow clones, regaining control over his large reserves is coming around slowly. It is still a major setback, but it'll happen eventually. Right now, almost a third of the shadow clones are doing chakra control exercises to speed it up. The rest are practicing elemental manipulation. Since his training period after the 4th Shinobi War, Naruto took it upon himself to broaden his jutsu moveset. It also helps that he can perform all 5 elemental manipulations. With all the clones doing these exercises, the original is seen all by himself, with his eyes closed standing still in concentration. Then, stretches out his right bandaged hand, with the palm facing up. Chakra begins to build around it, forming multiple spinning chakra circles. Sweat is now seen running down Naruto's face as he is fully concentrated on the formation of signature technique. Finally, after a bit, a blue sphere of pure chakra is seen above his hand. It's slightly bigger than a softball, however, if one were to look closer, this sphere is actually made up of tiny, spinning chakra circles going in different directions. He'd done it. Naruto has successfully performed the Rasengan with one hand. He had already done it moments before, he had to make sure he could actually perform it. With that, it was time to test it out. He sees a large boulder a few yards away. Getting a good launch, he rushes towards the big rock. Rasengan. The attack made contact, slowly grinding through rock, before expanding to about 4 times its original size, then exploding. The once large boulder is now completely destroyed. As the rubble began to fall around Naruto, he released a sigh of relief. His progress is going great. Pretty soon, I'll be able to perform all of its variants. I can't wait for that day. He turns around to see all of his clones still hard at work performing their trainings. Naruto claps twice to get all of his clones' attention. Alright, that's enough for today. Good job guys, we've made great progress. let's wrap it up for today. He states as he gets a resounding yes boss. From the clones. In sections of 20, Naruto dispels all of his clones, taking extra care not to overwhelm his brain. After the last group dispels, Naruto holds his head as all the information is being absorbed into his own mind. Over the past year, he made sure to place a large emphasis on his chakra control. While he still has a large pool, it was significantly smaller than when he fought against Taneri. So, he made sure to not make the same mistake as his genin self and waste chakra with every technique. This also meant he needed to prioritize the Rasengan. To this day, he never understood how his younger self could ever perform the Rasengan with a clone. It felt so weird going from a one-hand to three-hand process to make it again. Now that he has the Rasengan at an advanced level, he can try and recreate some of his more devastating techniques. However, that will be for another day. Right now, he has some business to attend to back in Metro City. He gathered his bag, grabbed some water, and made his way back to the city. Metro City, Beat Square, 9:30 a.m. A lot has happened since he last spoke with Bosch. His leasing contract was approved, so he moved into his brand new apartment. For the price, he got a very spacious apartment, 3 bedrooms, a decent kitchen, a bathroom, and a good-size common area. Overall, his apartment would surely go for more money than he was paying for, however, the manager stated that they don't have high rent rates due to them having to include a maintenance rate. The maintenance rates goes up the more times the complex needs to repair the rooms. It starts with a standard $100 extra fee but goes up $50 for each request the crew makes. Metro City is known for having a large amount of property damage, so it makes sense that complexes added these new fees. However, with the original rent rates, people were simply not signing contracts. This has led to many places restructuring their rates to bring in more people. This is how Naruto is able to afford such a nice fully furnished apartment. Despite having a lot of money saved up from his time in Japan, he appreciated the low rates, especially since he already bought property in Chinatown. For most of the weekend, Naruto did some remodeling and of course, maintenance as well. Having been the student of a seal master, as well as in Uzumaki, Naruto felt bad that he actually never learned much over this ninja art. So, during the training period he requested from Kakashi-sensei, he did his best to learn seals from different masters, as well as some notes that were left for him by his mother and father. While Naruto isn't on par with his father, he is pretty close. However, he's come to realize that seals don't really fit his fighting style. He originally picked it up as a way to honor his family, not as another way to fight. Naruto is perfectly fine using his fists and jutsu for combat. Excluding the flying rage and technique his father created, Naruto uses seals for other things in his life. He places reinforcement seals on windows, walls, doors, and other parts of the apartment to ensure they endure any form of damage. He then places seals to prevent rust on metal items, a security seal to detect potential robbers, privacy seals in all rooms, and storage seals in cabinets and the fridge to increase their capacities. Once all the seals were placed, Naruto decided to contact Zack to see which apartment he was in. It turns out Zack is on the floor above Naruto, which led to Zack visiting him. They talked more about their experiences in Japan, mostly Zack, since he has 7+ years of content to talk about, but Naruto enjoyed the company. The rest of the weekend was spent preparing for today. What is today? Well, Naruto is headed once again to Chinatown to guide carpenters to fix up the building he purchased for his new business. When he bought the building, he fully intended on making it a ramen shop. It really pissed him off to see that a ramen shop wasn't something that was there in Chinatown. How can there not be a place that serves the food of the gods? Anyways, once he made that discovery, he knew that he had to change that. Luckily, thanks to how often he was at the stand and that one time he learned the RECIPE real episode, never skip filler. He was confident on remaking the same product again. Talking to Zack, however, made him realize that there was something else that he could do besides selling ramen. He never realized it but this world doesn't know about the sealing arts. As far as Naruto was concerned, he was the only one that even knew the art itself. He can sell his own seals while also selling ramen. With this idea, Naruto finished putting on his normal outfit and headed off to the place to meet with the carpenters. Chinatown main entrance, 12 p.m. Almost 3 hours later, coming out of a slightly abandoned-looking building, we see a group of workers with hard helmets and blueprints with Naruto as they finalize the dates, sign paperwork, and prepare to fix it up. Finally, Naruto has most of the work finished. Now it's all about waiting. Since he was in the area, he decided to look around Chinatown. He heard there was a place that sold something called a shaobing. Apparently, they are popular here. Anyways, as he begins to head towards the center of Chinatown, he sees a large gathering of people near the pavilion. When a gathering of people happens in Metro City, it can only mean one thing. Deciding to stay and see the fight, Naruto made his way to the front of the crowd to see the fighters. Once there he sees two female fighters in stances getting ready to start. One of them appears to be in their teens. She is a short brown-haired girl. She is wearing a yellow and white jacket with a blue bag around the chest in a diagonal angle, blue headphones, a short red and black skirt, white leg warmers, and white sneakers with blue and orange patterns. The other fighter is an older woman with brown hair and red lipstick. She is wearing a light blue Chinese shirt with gold designs on the sleeves, collar, and the ends of the shirt. She is also wearing two gold bracelets with black diamond-shaped designs on them, with one on each wrist. Lastly, she has tight blue leggings and blue kung fu sandals as well. As the team gets into a stance, the older woman just places her hands behind her back. Interesting choice. Now Naruto is interested in the fight. The team spent little time closing the distance, throwing a spinning overhand palm strike to the lady, who just moves to the side, then ducks under two chops aimed for her head. The teen girl then tried to go for palm strike to the body but missed as well. The woman that knees the stretched out arm, then body checks the teen girl with her hips waist, knocking the teen back. This only worked temporarily as the teen then went for a leg sweep, which again the woman to dodge by jumping over it and then moves to the side of a side kick that the teen followed through with. The teen then once again went for two overhead chops, which the women dodged, followed by backing up from the teen spinning side kick and then jumping away from a spinning axe kick. The fight now moved to being right in front of Naruto, with the woman having her back turned to him. This fight was extremely one-sided. He'd hoped that this was a sparring session and not an actual fight. This teenager was getting worked. Seemingly frustrated, the teen decided to do a launching flying kick, aiming for the woman's chest. Almost expecting it, the lady that jumped over the teen, all without removing her hands from her back, and, while staring at her face, finished the rotation, lightly tapping her foot on the teenager's head, sending her flying towards an old lady that was just getting her stuff from the nearby stand. Both begin screaming as the teenager has no way of controlling her trajectory, nor does the lady have a chance to get out of the way. Luckily, Naruto was there and he decided to step in. With quick reflexes, he rushes towards both of them, grabs one of the flailing arms of the teenager, pulling her body towards him, then he spun his body almost like a twirl to stop the momentum of the teenager. After one spin, the action led to the teenager's head being placed against Naruto's chest and her arms wrapped around his torso for security. Her legs landed just in front of his, which were spread out for stability. One of his hand was placed on her upper back and the other just above her lower back. Once Naruto ensured that everything was fine, he looked down at the girl, only to notice that the girl still had her eyes closed, so he spoke, "Hey now. Are you okay?" The girl opened her eyes and looked up to see Naruto giving her a smile with his eyes staring into hers. Li Fen's perspective. Welp, she's about to get it. Today was supposed to be an average day for her. Her older sister was going to be teaching a couple of new students today, and she was just gonna showcase some moves for Chun-Li, then have the rest of time as free time. She was already thinking about heading to her favorite restaurant to purchase a shaoxing with extra meat. However, for some reason, Chun-Li, her older sister, wanted to show these new students how a sparring match would go. Oh great. Now normally, she wouldn't mind sparring against Chun-Li, but her older sister has extremely high expectations for Li Fen. Despite not training as much as Chun-Li did when she was her age, Chun-Li expected her to be on pace to match that. This means that she will provide feedback mid-fight, then chew her out for not improving as much as she expects. HMPH, well, sorry for not meeting your sky-high expectations. These were Li Fen's thoughts as she began to spar with Chun-Li. Not only was she not hitting anything, but Chun-Li was making a show out of it by not using her hands at all. After Chun-Li dodged the last combo she threw at her, Li Fen had enough and tried something that, in her eyes, Chun-Li wouldn't expect. She launched herself at her sister, hoping to catch her off guard with the attack. "I got you now, Gigi." To her shock, not only did Chun-Li react in time, but as she jumped over her, her sister made sure that she rotated enough in the air so that as Li Fen flew by, Chun-Li was staring right at her, almost in a mocking way. Next thing Li Fen knew, she felt a light tap on the back of her head, then she realized that she was heading towards an old lady. Realizing that she is unable to do anything, she closes her eyes, preparing for the impact. Only to feel her entire world spin. She felt a hand grab her from her side and pull her out of the air. Next thing she knew, she was pressed up against a hard masculine chest, with a person's arms wrapped around her back. On instinct, she wrapped her arms around the torso so as not to lose balance. Still recovering from the scare, she heard a male's voice, "Hey now. Are you okay?" Once she opens her eyes, she looks up and is stunned. "Oh. My. God." Was the first thing she thought. The man embracing her was tall, had blonde hair, cute whisker-like markings on his face, but what caught her attention most were his bright blue eyes. She could stare at them all day if she could. He also had a smile on his handsome face, waiting for a response. Based on what she was feeling, he also had a lean, muscular build. Before she knew it, a blush began to form on her face once she realized how close they were. Back to normal perspective. As everything settles down, both Naruto and Lee Fen are seen holding onto each other. Many spectators were clapping at seeing Naruto's quick reflexes, but then they began to comment. Seeing the blush form on Lee Fen's face, Naruto spoke out, "Hey, are you sick? Your face is all red." He states, then removes one of hands from her back and places it on her forehead, causing a shocked gasp to leave Lee Fen's. What is he doing? We just met. Granted, he is hot, but still. Lee Fen tried to say something, but she could only stutter in response as her blush grew more. Finally, she couldn't take it and just pushed him off of her, creating some space between them. She looks away from Naruto. She decides to sit down in the middle of the street, trying her best to control her blush. Luckily, Chun-Li chose this time to speak up. Ahem. Lee Fen, I'm disappointed in you. Chun-Li walks up to the downed Lee Fen while moving some of her hair out of her face, the first time Naruto has seen her move her hand from her back. It's all the fooling around on your PC. Lee Fen, now reducing her blush, responded. I'm not fooling around. You're just way too good. Lee Fen felt the need to defend her hobbies. With that response, Chun-Li decided to focus on the blonde man that saved Lee Fen. He is currently being thanked by the old lady who offered him some food from the stand. He was trying to not accept, but the elderly woman was persistent. He has good reflexes. Alice did tell me that one of Luke's students may come by one of these days. She also mentioned that he seemed pretty advanced compared to the others. With that, Chun-Li began to walk towards Naruto. Lee Fen got up and turned around, only to form a small blush again when she saw Naruto. Sorry for the trouble. I didn't mean to get you involved. She then extends her hand too, wanting to shake Naruto's. Realizing this, he stretches out his right hand and shakes her hand. It's no trouble, really. I'm just glad that I was able to stop anyone from getting hurt. He states while looking at Lee Fen's direction, who also refused to look at him in the eye. Regardless, thank you for intervening when you did. I sometimes tend to forget that spectators get close. I do apologize on both of our behalf. She bows her head slightly. Then she continues. Now, is there anything I can do for you? She asks with a smile. As they all make their way back to the pavilion, Naruto tells them about his enrollment with BBTC and how both Luke and Alice recommend him to seek other masters to learn from to broaden his skillset. Before he can elaborate further, Chun-Li butts in. I see. You're in pursuit of strength, Well, not exactly, but sure, whatever speeds things along. That's a feeling I understand all too well. I've had a long career as a fighter, myself. I've faced all kinds of opponents. That includes fiercely powerful foes and friends forged in the fire of competition. She finishes. Naruto nods his head in return, letting her continue. But after all those years of fighting, I decided that it might be time to take a break. That's why I'm here, teaching the locals kung fu. I can't promise that it will provide you with the strength you are looking for, but I'd be happy to teach you a thing or two. Naruto smiles back at her, thank you for accepting me. She then looks at Lee Fen, who is still not looking at his direction. Now then. Let us begin. Lee Fen. Lee Fen, realizing she is the center of attention, looks at both of them, nods at Chun-Li, then give a shy smile and wave at Naruto, a light blush still present on her cheeks. Chun-Li makes her way to stand on the top step of the pavilion while the rest of her students begin to gather below her. Lee Fen realizes that they are about to begin, grabs Naruto's wrist. Come on, hurry. She pulls him towards the rest of the group. Alright Lee Fen, you can do this. Just show Naruto how advanced you are, impress him, then see if he is interested in Dottie. What am I thinking? I need to get to know him first. Wow. His hand feels warm. With that, a smile blush forms on her face again, but was overshadowed by the excitement to showcase more of her skills to Naruto to try and impress him. Naruto and Lee Fen are now seen standing in the front row of the students, right in front of Chun-Li. Once they were in place, Chun-Li placed her hands together in front of her face. One is in a closed fist and the other is opened. Naruto sees that everyone else copies her moments later. He looks at Lee Fen's direction, only for her to gesture with her head to look at Chun-Li. I see, we're essentially playing follow the leader. Okay, should be simple. With that, Naruto followed suit. Chun-Li then exhaled, moving her hands in a circular motion, then widening her stance to get into a fighting pose. The rest, including Naruto, followed shortly after. Impressive. He seems to understand the exercise. Let's see if he can keep up. Normally, new students wouldn't be forced to do this with the others, since they wouldn't be able to keep up. However, since Alice told her Naruto was more advanced, she wanted to see just how advanced he was. What followed next was a sequence of fighting poses, strikes, movements, and techniques. Every time she made a move, the students followed her shortly after. For the first cycle, Naruto was slightly behind everyone else. However, once he got a feel for it. Not only was he matching their speed, but he was also actually matching Chun-Li as well. This really impressed Chun-Li. Normally, it takes a couple sessions for a new student to match the rest. Yet, after one cycle, he not only surpassed them, but he is matching her as well. To everyone else, Chun-Li was looking at all her students, however, both Naruto and Li Fen knew she was focusing mainly on him. Soon, both zoned out everyone else, it was just them, moving in complete synchronized movement. Chun-Li was actually having a lot of fun testing out Naruto. He seemed to live up to his previous expectations set by her. Wow. Not even Li Fen is as sync as we are. HMPH, let's see if you can do this. With the ending of the final cycle, she performed a crane stance at first. Naruto hears a lot of people groaning, and a giggle is heard from Li Fen as well. Alright Naruto, I hope you look at me, I'm about to impress you with my skills. Li Fen is confident that this will impress Naruto. It always impresses the new students whenever Li Fen and Chun-Li do it. After a few moments of holding the pose, Chun-Li then lifts her left leg to have it complete straight up in the air. She uses her own arm to hold it there. Li Fen does it moments later as well. Soon, a large amount of thumps, yelps and groans are heard by every student as they try to copy the movement, only for almost everyone to fail immediately. Releasing a giggle, Li Fen is sure that Naruto is impressed now. As she surveys all the students that failed, her eyes land on Naruto and widen in pure shock. There's no way. Naruto, the newest student of Chun-Li. A male student, nonetheless, is not only slowly copying Chun-Li's motion, but, in a moment, he too, raised his leg straight into the air, with little to no struggle. Shock gasps were heard from the rest of the students that failed. No one could believe what they were witnessing. Li Fen herself is left speechless. In all the sessions Jiaji hosted, she never seen a male perform this maneuver. Naruto wasn't concerned with those around him. All he was doing was breathing in and out calmly and staring right into Chun-Li's eyes in an almost challenging way. He mouthed to her, surprised. Before looking around as well, seeing everyone, and he means everyone, in the area staring at him. Well, I guess Alice wasn't lying. He truly is something special. Without question he is on par with Li Fen already. Things just got interesting. With a light giggle, Chun-Li stops holding the pose, letting both Li Fen and Naruto know that they can do the same as well. After everyone slight recovers, most of the females in the area were seen giggling and looking leering at Naruto. I guess flexibility is something they are impressed with. Not realizing what they are probably thinking of how to utilize that part of his capabilities, he begins to walk towards Chun-Li. To the side, Li Fen is seen with a red face. However, it's not due to blushing. Okay, it wasn't mostly due to blushing. She was slightly closer to some of the female students and she was able to hear some of their whispers. Wow, did you guys see that? Not only is he really hot, but he is also really strong. I know, did you see how flexible he is? Man, imagine the things he can use that flexibility for. Girl, get your head out the gutter. What, I'm only stating what we are all thinking. You think he is single? I hope so, I plan to talk to him after for some pointers, yeah let's go with it. These were only some of the comments that Li Fen heard while she was making her way towards Chun-Li and Naruto. Damn it. This was my chance to impress and wow him. Then he goes and does that. How am I going to get his attention now? Her plan to get Naruto's attention backfired. Back with Chun-Li and Naruto, Chun-Li just asked Naruto to get to know the rest of the students and even some of her assistants. Once he left to do just that, she turned her attention to Li Fen. So, Li Fen, what do you think of Naruto? Chun-Li asks as Li Fen draws closer. Li Fen looks at Naruto as he converses with the other assistants. He seems really good for a newbie. Do you have any information on him? She's asking, even if it is something small. Wouldn't hurt to get to know him a little more. I only know him from what Alice told me. Alice was one of her more advanced students. Someone that even surpassed Li Fen. She mentioned that he is a raw talent. Full of potential but needs guidance. She also mentions that something seems to be holding him back from going all out. As she was about to continue, they catch the tail end of a conversation Naruto was having with one of the newer male students. Heh, think you are so tough and cool don't you? Just cause you can do some poses. Well let's see how you hold up in a real fight. The student holds out his fist at a 60-degree angle, waiting for Naruto to accept. Naruto followed suit and the rest cleared out to give them space. The student was the first to try and hit Naruto. Going for a sloppy overhead chop, similar to how Li Fen did earlier against Chun-Li. Instead of dodging, like how the student expected, Naruto simply caught the hand, stopping all momentum from the student. Before the student could react, Naruto hit him with a throat chop, stunning the male student, which led to a power uppercut. While still in the air, Naruto met him up there and performing a downward axe kick which connected with the student's face, essentially knocking him out cold before he even hit the ground. Naruto received claps and cheers from the crowd and some fangirl squeals. Naruto shuddered as he remembered how those type of fans were persistent even in his own time. He hopes they aren't as dedicated in this time. Naruto looks back in Chun-Li and Li Fen's direction and begins to head their way there. He was told by Chun-Li to interact with all of her students. Despite already being friendly, Naruto wants to know more about the girl. He sees that she is sitting at the table under the pavilion with a laptop on her lap. He approaches while she seems distracted. "Hello there." Naruto starts off with his signature fox-like grin. This startles Li Fen, then gains a small blush. "Oh, hello Naruto. I never really got your name, do mind me asking?" He asks while rubbing the back of his head. Adjusting her laptop, she continues, "Sure, my name is Li Fen. Well, nice to meet you Li Fen. So, I heard you call Chun-Li your sister, that must be nice to have someone like her look after you?" He asks to try to make small talk. "Well, you're not wrong. Well, I'm technically her student, she is my sister first. Though not by blood. I'm just here trying to soak up her coolness and her cash. Damn it, I hope I don't sound too awkward." With a smile and a light chuckle, she decided to get to know more about Naruto. "Well, how about you? How old are you, do you have other family, what brought you here?" Hopefully, he's okay with asking me to ask all of this. Li Fen wants every chance she gets to get to know Naruto. "Well, for starters, I'm 22, my birthday is October 10, I came here from Japan, where I lived for most of my life, and the reason for me coming here, well, it's a combination of exploring the world and getting stronger, more or less." He answered somewhat truthfully. He doesn't want to reveal just yet what he is and why he is doing things. Li Fen nods, grateful for more information about him, "And what about family?" She asked, maybe she can get on their good side for reasons. "Ah, well, I guess you can say I have a grandparent, but he isn't blood related, my parents aren't around anymore." He wasn't really sure how to state this next part. On one hand, he considers Yashi one of his new precious people, so he is comfortable stating that white lie. "Oh, I'm sorry for bringing up bad memories, I can also relate, since I never really got close to mine either." She answered truthfully, realizing that she might have brought up bad memories. Naruto shakes his head, "No worries, I've gotten over it. I also want to state that you are a very strong person. To have lost family is never easy. But I'm glad you found someone that can be your family now." He answers more sincerely compared to their earlier tone. Both give small smile to each other as they realize they have more in common with each other than they think. Chun-Li, while supervising her students, couldn't help but listen into their conversation. She gives a small smile at Naruto's responses, "Thank you Naruto." Li Fen could use more friends that can relate to her. She tucked some of her hair strands back into form, getting back to focusing on assisting some of the younger students. After exchanging contacts with Li Fen, Naruto excused himself to go and finish his conversation with Chun-Li. "Hello again sensei." Well, that almost caught her off guard. Naruto doesn't seem to be the formal type. "Oh, hello Naruto, please you don't have to be so formal, you can call me Chun-Li." She answers, not all that used to be referred to by that. "Oh, okay Chun-Li-chan." Naruto states, adding that suffix, showing his Japanese roots. "Well, have you had the chance to talk to the other students and learn about apprenticing? I know that you are trying to master my style right now, but I can't say that my forms and techniques will be a good fit for you." She answers truthfully. "Only you can discover a style that fits you best. And the only time you can do that is in combat," she states with an excited tone. Naruto does the earlier salute that she and Li Fen did at the start of their fight before bowing his head. "Thank you for taking me in as your student. I can't wait to learn more." This got a light laugh from Chun-Li, well isn't he eager to learn more. She then looks at Li Fen, who while working on her laptop keeps sneaking glances at Naruto. "Ah, Naruto, if it's alright with you. Can you keep an eye on Li Fen for me?" She then looks back at Naruto, "She's very talented, but I fear she lacks direction. I saw how well both of you got along in your earlier conversations. A friendship between you two might be what she needs to help her grow." Despite how strict she appears, she really does care for Li Fen. Naruto thinks as he nods his head to Chun-Li's request. "Thank you Naruto. I also wanted to let you know that, since you're already so advanced, I can't exactly leave you in the hands of my assistant. So, with Li Fen, I will be personally overseeing your training from now on." With that, Naruto nods his head with a smile appearing on his face. He sends a thumbs up to Li Fen, who happened to listen into the conversation, "Yes. Thank you Jiaji, you just gave me a huge advantage." She internally celebrates before seeing Naruto's gesture, with a blush on her face, she returns the thumbs up with her own, smiling and winking as well. "I know you already exchanged contact information with Li Fen, but I still want to give you mine as well. After all, I be personally responsible for your development." With that both take out their phones and exchange numbers. Perfect, now since you are so advanced already, I'd like to teach you one of my personal favorite techniques. With that, she gestures for one of her assistants to bring someone over. Moments later, she isn't standing across from is that the intern from Luke's gym. Well, it looks like he is also working for Chun-Li as well. Can't say he isn't grinding. Chun-Li gets close to the intern, who while shaking in fear, while getting into a defensive stance. She begins to gather a large amount of Kai, then she releases it while also shouting out the attack name, Kakashi. With that, a massive ball of Kai is released, covering the intern entirely. After getting hit, grinding noises are heard before he is launched several yards away while yelling in pain. Chun-Li turns around with a sigh and smiles at Naruto. Okay Naruto. This is my Kakashi attack. I supercharge Kai into my palms, forming a big sphere of condensed Kai that both grinds through defenses and explodes once the caster stops using Kai. As she explains, claps and cheers are heard from around the area. Wow. That's so cool. It looks just like my Ra's. It was at this moment he knew he fucked up. What were you about to say Naruto? Chun-Li asks with a bit of suspicion in her tone of voice. Shit, I didn't want to reveal anything about my training just yet. What do I do? Naruto gulps as sweat began to form on his forehead. Nothing, I wasn't going to say anything. He says with a nervous smile, not at all convincing Chun-Li as she gets closer to Naruto, looking at him with a critical eye. Naruto, if there is one trait I don't like in a person, is indecisiveness. If you don't want to reveal what you want to say, that's fine. But I also don't have to teach my technique as well. Blackmail, the ultimate weapon of any woman. Naruto knew that he was caught. He was never good at lying. So, with a sigh he folded. Alright Chun-Li, I'll tell you. He says, getting the attention of Li Fan and nearby people as well. I was about to say that your technique looks a lot like my Rasengan. Chun-Li, now more curious than annoyed, asked, what is this Rasengan? She assumes it's a technique. Could Naruto already be forming his own fighting style? Rasengan is the name of my technique that I developed watching different fighters manipulate Kai. It's essentially going to be my signature technique once I get more practice with it. He answers truthfully. He is still practicing with it. Trying to form the Rasengan at the same rate he did before becoming stone. Chun-Li, now more curious asks, interesting, care to showcase this technique? I'm sure my assistant can take another hit. A whine was heard from said intern. Alright then. With that, Naruto steps up as Chun-Li takes her place back on the top step of the pavilion. Naruto held his hand out, closing his eyes and began to gather chakra. At first nothing happened. Then, multiple small rings of blue energy are seen spinning in different directions over his palm. Eventually, so many rings appeared that a perfect sphere is seen sitting on top of Naruto's hand. It's roughly the same size as a kickball and is humming with power. Naruto opens his eyes to see the Rasengan has fully formed and began to explain, I created this technique with the intention that it can self-sustain itself well after I finish channeling Kai into it. Until it contacts something, it should never disappear. As he describes the technique, Chun-Li and Li Fan are both interested and shocked to see such control from Naruto. Many around them are also whispering about how advanced Naruto seems to be. Wow, there's a lot of power inside that sphere. I wonder what type of damage it can do. Not only was it similar to her own technique, but Naruto seems to channel the same amount of Kai she had for her Kakashi into a smaller, denser technique. Naruto motions the intern to prepare for the impact. The intern, again, squirming in fear, braced for the pain they will feel. With that as his cue, Naruto ran forwards, shoving the sphere into the intern's protected forearms. Rasengan. No one was prepared for the power behind Naruto's technique. Both pressure and winds picked up around him, knocking those that weren't prepared for it over. Chun-Li and Li Fan are seen covering their faces from the intense wind. What the, is he really a beginner? Just what else are you hiding Naruto? Chun-Li continued to look at the attack with amazement. Holy cow, just how strong is Naruto? This is even more intense than Jiuji's attack. Li Fan is having a tougher time fighting through the winds. Back with Naruto and the intern, as the Rasengan continued to grind away, Naruto let the technique go, causing the intern to get pushed back, destroying the street along the way. Finally, it began to expand, eventually it got to about 4 times its original size, completely covering the intern. Then a large explosion was heard, and a flash of white hit everyone's vision, causing many to shut their eyes. When it was all said and done, a small crater with the intern inside of it was the result of the devastating attack by Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, concerned about the intern's life, yelled, "Hey, are you okay?" The intern, somehow still conscious, slowly raises his left hand with a thumbs up. Those that got a good look inside the crater can see that the padding that the intern wore was extremely damaged. The center of it had a spiral-shaped dent in it. Chun-Li released a sigh, knowing that the intern was okay. She had her other assistants go and help him out. Both she and Li Fen make their way towards Naruto. Whoops, I didn't mean to put that much power in it. I forget how destructive that technique is. Normally, a Rasengan isn't enough to finish off an opponent, but in this time and age, people are not capable of tanking it. As he turns around, he is met with a shocked expression from Li Fen and Chun-Li. Chun-Li was the first to speak. Well, Naruto. From what we can see, your Rasengan is extremely powerful. I wonder, what training did you receive before coming here? This demonstration all but confirmed it. Naruto isn't just a newbie to fighting. He is hiding something. Well, I am also being trained by Luke at his gym. He was cut off by Chun-Li again, I mean before coming to Metro City. I know Luke's techniques and he doesn't have one similar to what you just did. Who trained you before us? She asked more seriously. Oh, well. No one. I am mostly self-taught. My father actually created the technique. The training scroll for the technique was one of the only things he left me. So, I decided to honor him by learning it. He answered again, with a bit of the truth, but not all of it. Not fully satisfied, Chun-Li looked all over Naruto for any sign of lying. Seeing none, she sighed, before removing another strand of hair from her face. Well, I must say, it's an extremely powerful attack. Sorry for sounding so serious. As a teacher, I want to know more about my student and their background. However, she smiles again with a playful tone in her speech, the fighter in me also can't wait to try and face you in a sparring match. Hearing the playful tone, Naruto decided to respond as well. Well, Milady, I'd be happy to teach you on how to perform the technique, perhaps the student can also be a teacher. He ends the comment with a wink. Which caused Chun-Li to giggle in response. Well, Naruto-sensei, when can we have this training session? Chun-Li can't be certain, but she is starting to like Naruto. Having him around will definitely make things more fun. This comment caused, but laugh at the running joke, almost like they have been long-time friends now. However, a certain teenage girl sees it differently. No way, is Jiaji flirting with Naruto? How can this be? She thinks, I am certain I can get his attention for those other girls, but from Jiaji. Is she my rival for his attention now? Both panic and frustration began to form inside of Li Fen's mind. Oh, of all the students to grab Chun-Li's attention, why did it have to be the hot one? As Chun-Li and Naruto's laughter begin to die down, they begin to converse more about Naruto's schedule. Anyways, like I said before, I would be supervising your training personally. So, I'll send you a message with the times and dates that Li Fen and I will be present. Also, if you still want, I can show the beginning steps of how to perform my Kakasha right now. She asks while crossing her arms in front of her modest chest. Definitely, I'm still practicing my Rasengan and it uses a lot of Kai, so having other techniques to use and practice will definitely be appreciated. With that, Naruto's afternoon was spent with Chun-Li personally guiding him through the process of performing her attack. With the assistance of Li Fen of course. Outside Metro City, secret SIRN base. Same day, 9 p.m. SIRN is a relatively new organization. With it specializing in advancing robotics in the form of androids, robots, drones, and of course AI. Many don't know the true origins of the organization. Hell, most of the scientists that are employed have little knowledge of the origins of their employer. Within this secretive base are scientists that are working on a revolutionary type of AI-powered robot, one that has the potential to reduce human casualties in war, fight crime, and possible more. They are led by a female scientist who has dark skin, black hair, and is wearing a blue lab coat, which is easy to spot among the rest of the white lab coats. Inside the lab, dozens of mechanical parts, massive computers, screens, and robotic tools litter the whole lab. The lab itself is pretty futuristic. Airtight, with ventilation maintaining oxygen levels. At the center of the lab was a giant testing area, rectangular in shape. It was surrounded by reinforced glass, the only form of window in the whole laboratory. Here, the lead scientist, as well as the majority of the workers, were seen staring into the testing area that had a white humanoid robot in it. One of the assistants to the lead scientist stated out loud, Dr. Alani. We've done it. Our first successful test with these new AI robots. Cheers and clapping can be heard all around the laboratory as they hear the good news. Copycat fighting robots. Not their official name, but it basically sums up their purpose. Using a complex database, these robots' AI observes fighting data that were collected from fighters all around the world. The idea was that these robots would take this data, learn from it, and teach itself the fighting style that it has been given. The body given to these robots is both sturdy and flexible. It's mostly powered by a battery that stores and absorbs solar energy. These robots were made with the intention of reducing human casualties in dangerous situations. A fighter solider that never needs food, water, rest, and would never complain, can be trained in an instant. The potential of these types of robots is limitless. However, as they just witnessed, these robots do have one flaw. The AI, while extremely advanced, is still a work in progress. The robot doesn't really have an off switch, and the AI doesn't stop fighting until it deems the area safe. This glitch in the system isn't too worrisome, but it will set back the progress of this technology for quite some time. With a sigh, Dr. Alani wipes some hair out of her face and begins to order everyone to deactivate the 3 robots in the testing area. Just as she finishes her orders, another scientist shouts out. "Dr. Alani, we have a call from upper management." With that, Dr. Alani made her way to the biggest screen in the lab. Straightening herself in her coat, she motions for the scientist to accept the call. The screen, which was 10 feet long and 7 feet tall, flickered on to show a shadowy figure. The figure was masculine in physique, and they seemed to be wearing a nice suit, and a cane was also seen in one of the hands of the figure. Due to the angel, the face was not distinguishable, keeping this individual's identity a secret. That's how it's always been. No one, save a select few, knows the identities of upper management or even the CEO. Most are told to refer to the CEO as Lord. The shadowy figure began to speak. "Dr. Alani, I hope I am not interrupting anything. I just wanted to know what the status is on our latest project." The figure's voice was deep, loud, and emits power and authority. Dr. Alani did a small gulp before responding. "No worries, my lord, I thank you for honoring us with your presence. We have just completed our tests of our newest model of AI robots." She pauses as a hum is heard from the shadowy figure, letting Dr. Alani know to continue. The AI was successfully able to copy and perform the techniques it learned from its database. No glitches with that process was discovered, however. She paused, hoping not to disappoint the man before stating that next part, "There is a problem with the AI disobeying our commands. We are struggling to find a balance of a strong enough AI to power the robot, but one that isn't strong enough to gain its own independent thoughts." She bowed her head, hoping she didn't anger the CEO. Interesting. Tell me, Ms. Alani, how severe is the glitch over their AI brain? What is the timeline looking like for an adequate prototype to be displayed to the world?" the figure asked, adjusting his position. "Based on the staff we have, it will be another 4 to 5 months before we can possibly make these models known to the public," she said. When she looked for a response, the CEO didn't seem to approve of the time needed. I see a long pause was followed before the CEO spoke again. "I thank you, Dr. Alani, for your hard work. However, I can't wait 4 to 5 months. So, with that, I relieve you and your team of this project." Gasps were heard from all around the laboratory. Were they fired? "My lord. Surely you are not implying that we are fired." Dr. Alani, someone that prided themselves on being a decorative scientist, didn't like to have blemishes on her record. "You misunderstood." A sigh of relief was released by everyone in the lab. "I approve greatly of the work your team has accomplished. However, I've decided to move the development of these models to a new facility within Metro City. The lead scientist there is known for their development of AI. He will take over your team's work," he states before typing was heard on his end. "What I'm sending you right now is something that might be better suited for your team's skillset," he states before Dr. Alani's personal computer received a message. "The document that I have sent you contains ancient texts from a civilization long before our own. I will also be sending you all artifacts found with these texts. Please do your best to uncover their secrets. I have a feeling they may be worth a lot of money, something that we need right now." But that he begins to gather his things. "I will be sending a team sometime next week with the artifacts and original texts. This team will also take the new models of AI robots with them. With that being said, thank you Dr. Alani for your contribution to SIRN's cause." With that, he signs off and the big screen is turned off. Dr. Alani looks at one of the scientists closest to her computer and points at them. "You there, open the documents and project them on the main screen, let's see what we are working with." With that, the scientist rushed to the desk and pulled out the documents. The documents were actually pictures of what appeared to be ancient scrolls, books, and pieces of paper. One thing that Dr. Alani noticed was the language one of the papers used. It appeared that it was written in kanji, specifically Japanese kanji. Another thing that she noticed was that the closed scrolls all had a symbol engraved onto it. The symbol was a spiral that had a tip near the end of it. It resembled a leaf-like shape. Interesting. Alright, until we get our hands on these artifacts, we must prepare some about tools, soda. Birch. As Dr. Alani speaks, 2 scientists, one a male that was rotund, brown hair, and a chin-strap beard, was followed by a woman who was blonde, had an open lab coat that showcased a questionable outfit. She looked like she was cosplaying as a caveman, with fur garments that only covered her chest and exposed her toned stomach, as well as an orange skirt that went to her upper thigh. She had orange furry open-toed sandals that went to knee. "Yes, Dr. Alani," both stated as they stood in front of the lead scientist. These were Japanese scientists that she personally brought to her team. Despite their diverse skills and lack of expertise in computer science, they were valuable in their own rights. Birch was a specialist in animal behavior and an expert field data collector. He is responsible for all their field data being collected. Sada is an archaeologist, paleontologist, and geologist. She has led mining teams to collect raw materials to produce energy. These two are perfect for the task at hand. I need you both to translate these documents by the time they actually arrive. Birch, I trust that you can lead the translation. Birch nodded. And Sada, you will work with Birch to translate, however, once the artifacts arrive, please take lead for examining them. Sada nodded in return. Alright, dismissed. I expect results as soon as possible. Dr. Alani then turned to the rest of her team, ordering them to gather all data on their robot models and begin transferring the data to the other facility. After finishing their orders, she went to her desk to inform the other facility of the update. However, while she was closing the images, she spotted a book that had a picture of a fox and a man. The man looked to be staring warmly at the fox that had 9 tails. The book had kanji near the top. No other color ink other than black ink was used. As expected from ancient times. While not an expert, she did study abroad in Japan, so she understood the kanji. The title intrigued her a lot. The Child of Prophecy, what an interesting title. With that final thought, she returned to completing her task. Not realizing the implications, her team will discover once they uncover their secrets. What if Naruto was in Street Fighter Ninja Harem? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.